Oh, good evening, everyone. Happy Saturday. Australia Cup quarter final action tonight. Sydney FC, Auckland FC. This is obviously a big matchup to two of the biggest teams in the A League. You got Sydney FC, who are looking for success after what was a pretty mediocre A League season last time around. Obviously, Auckland FC already looking very strong, but looking to back up that successful season last time out for them in the A League and looking to win the Australia Cup in their first ever attempt. So if they get past Sydney FC here in the quarterfinals, get through to the semi-finals, that would be massive. I think they could well maybe be favourites to go all the way if they do get it done. And that's my tip, at least for tonight, to see Auckland go through. But, I mean, this should be an even contest. Sydney FC, a pretty youthful squad for them once again tonight. We'll talk about the lineups in just a moment. Auckland FC, their lineup tonight is very strong. So, say good day. Jump in the live chat. How's it going? How's your weekends going? So for the Sky Blues, I mean, plenty of youngsters tonight. Akola Khan getting the start, the teenager. Huge night for him. Play with a lot of promise. For Auckland FC, a very experienced side. Johan May and Jesse Randall leading the line for Auckland tonight. You've got Jesse Randall, a player who has been really impressive in this tournament so far. In a couple of games, he's already grabbed a few goals. So he's one to watch tonight. New signing Sam Cosgrove is on the bench for Auckland FC. So he is straight into the matchday squad as well. G'day, Ty, asking, anyone know, sorry, I was trying to read the full name there, Ty Calderwood. G'day, Ty. Anyone know if there's a way I can watch it without Paramount? Because I don't have it. I don't believe so. It is exclusive on Paramount Plus, as far as I'm aware. Hello to Nama, welcome. Leo Senna jumped in a bit earlier this afternoon. Leo Senna, 23, who's been shooting into our live streams lately, is at the game. Being played at Jubilee Stadium. Sydney FC, Auckland FC, set to kick off here. Here we go. Casey Rybat, the referee for tonight's game. This is a big one, folks. And we always love getting the all A-League matchups in the Cup. It's a sort of gives us a bit of an indication of maybe how these teams could fare this season. So we are underway. Throw your predictions in the chat. What are we expecting? What's a scoreline prediction? Are we going to extra time? Will a penalty shootout be required? Random Edits, g'day, says the Mariners need to actually sign someone. Well, it was great to finally break the ice last week, Mariners, and finally announcing the signing of Andrew Redmayne. And hopefully there's more to follow. Surely, right? Of course. Mariners obviously need to do some recruitment, but it's a shame that they haven't made any moves yet. Tan Lee's here as well. G'day, welcome. Random Edits. I'm actually getting. Random Edits says I'm getting actually annoyed. Every other club is signing everyone, and the Mariners always wait till the last second. Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Is that we're missing out on so many players. Like a player who I would have loved to see Mariners go for is Jaden Kaczarski. And we've seen two clubs sign him this transfer window. So, yeah, it's not ideal for Mariners fans, that's for sure. Jake Middleton in the chat. Sydney win. Random Edit says 2-1 to Auckland. G'day, Filmverse. This is just a watch along, so definitely not showing the match. Definitely not. Nama says apparently one matter was spotted at CCM headquarters. Yeah, look, I mean, whether that's true or not, we don't know, but that has been spoken about. And I believe it was Marco Monteverde this week who reported that one matter has been linked with Mariners. We don't know in what capacity here. I mean, from what I read in that article from Marco Monteverde, I mean, it suggested that it was a playing role, which is new information. Nothing official, obviously, at this stage. But, yeah, I mean, if that was to happen for Mariners, it'd be huge. Make sure to hit the like button. Support the channel. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Sky Blues with an early corner here, couple minutes in. Joe Lolly starting once again tonight. Going to deliver this one. Such a key play for Sydney FC. A lot of talk surrounding Joe Lolly this off-season, linking him with a move to Perth Glory. Doesn't look like that's happening. Corner punched away by Michael Wood. And Auckland bring it away. Paul Okon-Engsler starting once again tonight in Sydney's midfield. He started all the games in the Cup run so far for Sydney FC. And I get the sense that Paul Okon-Engsler is going to be a real key player, I think, in midfield for Sydney. Again, a lot has come out this last week in regards to like transfer news and what's happening at the various A-League clubs. And Leo Senna, reportedly, or from Ufuk himself, I believe, not necessarily a part of Sydney FC's squad at the moment in terms of, at least being involved in the matchday squads. Whether that changes in the future, we'll have to wait and see. But Leo Senna was pretty heavily involved last season, but you get the sense that maybe Paul Okon-Engsler is going to take over that defensive midfield role, hey? G'day, Blinkus. Good to see you here as well. Valhoon is in the chat. Siphoning is here. Welcome, everyone. Tarnley says, I hope the Mario Balotelli rumours are real. I think, the quotes are coming from Balotelli himself. Speaking, that was, again, an article from Marco Monteverde. You guys can check it out online. The quote's coming from Balotelli himself, saying that he wanted to play in the A-League. So that's a pretty solid indication that it's a good chance of happening. I think it will happen. If a player has publicly stated that he wants to play in the league, that's huge, man. So the question then becomes, what club does Mario Balotelli go to? And for me, not just because we're watching them right now, but Sydney FC feels like the perfect place for Mario Balotelli. I think you look at Sky Blues right now, and they need to sign a striker. They need a top striker at the moment. Patrick Wood starting up top tonight. Whether Sky Blues fans, see Patrick Wood as a regular starting striker this season, I'm not sure. He was out on loan for the second half of last season at Glory, and Patrick Wood just still feel like we haven't seen the best from him yet. You know what I mean? I think he still has a lot of potential. Let's come back to that Balotelli talking point in a moment, because here comes Auckland. First little attack going forward. Cross doesn't find anyone, but Sky Blues, even though they've been on the front foot in the opening 5 minutes, Auckland FC can go on the attack at any moment here and look dangerous. Logan Rogerson, Jesse Randall, Guillermo May, Marley Francois, those attackers for Auckland are dangerous players. But yeah, I think, again, with Balotelli, Sydney FC loves signing like big-name strikers from overseas. Last season had Patrick Lamar. Last season before that, Fabio Gomez. You think about Adam Lafondra, Bobo. Sydney FC like to sign strikers from overseas, like to go for that international experience. So Mario Balotelli feels like a move we could see. You look at the other big clubs in the A-League, like Melbourne Victory already have Nikos Vergos. Whether he'd be happy sitting on the bench and Balotelli starting. Having said that, Balotelli, we don't even know whether maybe he'd be starting week in, week out. Maybe he's more the kind of player who would be utilised off the bench anyway. But I tell you what, Victory have lost a lot of quality. Bringing in Balotelli, I don't know. To me, Sydney FC seems like the best option. I don't know. Siphoning says, I think Balotelli most likely would join Sydney FC or Melbourne City. Yeah, Melbourne City probably another option as well. Again, you've got that City connection, because obviously Mario Balotelli many years ago played for Manchester City. So he could play for Melbourne City. We know Melbourne City have Max Caputo, young striker there, but Balotelli could bring the experience. Random Edit says he would probably go to Western Sydney or Sydney because of Juan Mata or Douglas Costa. It'd be cool to see those players link up, right? That's for sure. Wanderers have too many strikers right now. Well, not too many, but they've they've done plenty of recruitment in that area of the park already with Alu Kowal and Costa Barbarouses. So I don't know. I don't know if they need another striker at this moment in time. G'day Casey, who says, I'm no mathematician, but Auckland winning here would significantly boost the odds of an NPL team potentially competing in Asia. Well, you would be right. You would be right, of course. This is the 3rd out of 4 quarterfinals. Avondale FC, Heidelberg United are through to the semi-finals. Fantastic cup runs for those two teams. They were unbelievable during the week. What a result, though. Hey, Heidelberg United 4. The 4-0 win over Wellington Phoenix. Just an incredible result against an A-League opposition. And then Avondale with a, 6-2 win over Brisbane City on Wednesday. Tomorrow, the final quarterfinal matchup. Newcastle Jets, Macarthur FC. So that'll be fun to watch as well. Siphoning also says City have the money for Balotelli. That's the thing, hey? I mean, who's gonna afford it? Nama asked, when does the A-League transfer window close? I believe I can't remember the exact date. It's like the middle of September. I think it's the middle of September. We've got a few weeks left. I think it might be the 15th. Tan Lee asks, what is your take on Triantis switching to Greece? It's such a huge loss for Australia. We don't have a 6 like him in a while. Hey, I mean, it's Nectar's choice, and we got to respect that. And we wish him all the best, of course, with his international career. I would have loved to have seen Nectar Triantis play for the Socceroos. I think, of course. I think the opinion's just the same for everyone. Hey, like I think we're all just a bit disappointed. But hey, it is what it is. Like, he's made his choice, and that's his choice. So, yeah. But Socceroos fans, I'm sure, disappointed that Triantis wasn't able to push into the Socceroos squad. But yeah, he was even called up to that training camp squad in June, right? In June or May. It might have been the end of May, a couple of months ago, and he turned it down. Like, he was the one that turned it down. I think that has to be remembered. I don't think it's like the fault of Tony Popovic or anything like that. It's Nectar Triantis, as far as we know, as what has been reported online. He turned down the opportunity to play for Australia. That's a choice, and we've got to respect that. When does the A-League start? Siphoning Lightning, October 17 for the A-League men's, and then the A-League women's kicks off 2 weeks later. October 17th. So we're getting closer, man. We're getting closer. Once we click into September, yeah, man, it rolls around quickly. The preseason can be a real grind through July, through August. Once we get into September, things really start to heat up. We get more kit releases. Transfers start to be finalised. Here comes Sydney FC. Akola Khan in the box. The youngster. And Callan Elliott sees it out for a goal kick. Yeah, man. Nama asks if Western United disband, which player would you sign for Central Coast Mariners? Yeah. Oh, man, it's a question for all you guys too. I mean, what Western United players would you take? Because that may well be what happens, where if Western United do indeed fold, if they don't compete in the A-League this season, which players would you love to see at your club? I mean, the first one that springs to mind is Dylan Leonard, but there's been reports that he's, receiving interest from Europe, so it feels like he's destined for a move overseas. But there's a handful of players I would take it from Western. I think you look at the midfield, Reece Bosanowski and Angus Thurgate, definitely options. There you go. Random Edits has just said I would take Angus Thurgate. Yeah, I think every club in the league would like Angus Thurgate. Marcus has also said Thurgate as well. There you go. Yeah, there's heaps of answers. Here's Geronimo May in the box for Auckland. Great chance. He's just like waltzing into the box. What happened there? Sydney FC falling asleep in defence. Ufuk-Talay doesn't look happy on the sidelines. Joel King, Corey Holman. This is Sydney FC moving forward with pace. This is good. Joe Lolly in the box. Auckland get the numbers back well there. That was a fast attack for Sydney, but by the time Joe Lolly, the ball got out to Joe Lolly there, Auckland had like 8 players in the box. Lockie Wales. No, Lockie Wales is at Perth Glory at the moment. Former West United player, though. That's correct. Siphoning Lightning says Auckland only beats South Melbourne because of some shocking ref calls. .5 minutes in, 0-0. Sydney FC, Auckland FC. An all A-League matchup in the Cup. We love it. Yellow card early on as well to Okola Con just there for a tug on the shirt. One of these exciting young players that Sydney FC have signed for the upcoming campaign who has a lot of potential. Playing out on the left wing tonight, Okola Con, given the opportunity. That feels like another position where Sydney FC need to recruit as well. I mean, we were talking earlier about maybe Murray Balotelli up top and the striker position for Sydney FC, but it feels like they need another winger. Douglas Costa, we'll see whether he is sticking around this season. There's been a lot of talk around that. I think we're expecting him to be here, but he still isn't with Sydney in pre-season yet. But that left wing position, I think you got to replace Segacic. And that's so hard to do, isn't it? Yeah. KFR, g'day. Where can I watch shit? You can watch on Paramount Plus this game for viewers in Australia. I don't know about international. They might still be doing the YouTube thing. Hey. Nama mentioned Abel Wallati from West United, another player. Yeah. Yep. Top player. Hiroshi Basuki. Very decent striker. Corner for Auckland. Headed away by Grant. De Vries, again with a cross. One of the best set-piece deliverers in the competition. Won't be streaming for tomorrow's game. Just this one tonight. This for me stood out as the marquee fixture in the quarterfinals. 2 big-name A-League teams. I mean, that's the thing, right? What do you guys think? Do you classify Auckland FC as like a big A-League team? I feel like they are. I mean, they've only been in existence for like a year. But it feels like they're already a big team. And not just because they won the premiership last year. Well, I mean, that's obviously a big factor. But they just feel like a big club. Big fan base. They've got a top squad as well. I think that's the big thing for Auckland FC as well. You look at the squad, and that's the thing. That's why I think Auckland FC may well be favourites to win this competition. Like, they're not messing around with this tournament. Sometimes you see some A-League teams, Kickoff, Melbourne City, not really take this tournament too seriously. And no disrespect to the squads they do field for the games, but if you're not playing like any of your first team players, like, doesn't give you too much hope. Hey, you need to find that balance. But what I'm trying to say is Auckland FC have been fielding like their strongest 11 possible every game, basically. Sometimes we see the Australia Cup, it's an opportunity for teams to give minutes to young players, but for Auckland FC, man, it's they're going all out. They want to win it. And I love that ambition. Auckland FC are a club who have ambition. You get that sense from them, hey. Siphon says, poor Auckland being rejected from playing in the AFC Champions League. Yeah. New Zealand. The New Zealand clubs can't play in Asia. That's the only disappointing thing, hey. And how fun would it be to like watch this Auckland team play in Asia? Dude, I think they would actually be like, I think they'd go all right. Siphon also says Melbourne City want to win the Champions League. Of course they do. And I'm very curious to see how Melbourne City go in the Champions League elite this year, sorry. Last year, we saw Mariners really struggle in the Champions League Elite, but they had a very young squad, of course. Melbourne City should be a different story. So if Melbourne City can get to the knockouts, I feel like in the Champions League Elite now, considering how competitive it is and how much quality there is in the Asian Champions League Elite, if you get to the knockout rounds, I think that's a success. Yeah. And that just simply means finishing in the top 8 out of 12 teams. I think that's, yeah, that's all right if you do that. Yeah. Random Anders asks, are Central Coast Mariners going to be in the Women's Asian Champions? I assume you mean Asian Champions League. No, it'll be Melbourne City. The Premiers go through to the Champions League competitions. The Premiers, which was, of course, Melbourne City last year in the early Women's. Mariners did win the championship, though. Valhoon says City and Spurs after this. Yeah, it's a big night of football, especially, if you're an English Premier League fan. Great to have the English Premier League back. I've been watching a little bit as well. Here comes Sydney. Oh, almost. Reece Yuli looking for a sneaky pass in behind. Another one of these new signings at Sydney FC. Yeah, you guys watching the Premier League? English Premier League, it's back. Second match week coming up. Oh, we're in it now. So yeah, Manchester City, Tottenham Hotspur kicking off straight after this game. Hey, well, I mean, to tell you what, that game may kick off if this game goes extra time. It may be happening at the same time. Valheim says talk of Ange taking over at Forest. Yeah, I did see something about that. Hey, Ange Postecoglou, wouldn't that be interesting? Back in the Premier League? It'd be good to see. Random Edit says Mariners desperately need a striker. Yes. Yes, I think that's priority for Mariners. If they had to sign one player, I think it would be a new striker. I mean, there's several positions that Mariners need to strengthen, but striker is definitely a priority, in my eyes at least. Appreciate you guys joining us for this live watch along. 20 minutes in, 0-0. Not too many clear-cut chances just yet, hey. It's, but the game's being played at a decent pace. Very intense. Not a lot of time on the ball for these teams. Sydney FC clearly trying to attack with a bit of pace. Dude, the matches, I tell you what, the matches between these two teams last season were great. Were really good. You might remember early on last season, Auckland hosting Sydney. I remember there was a bit of controversy in that game, Auckland winning it really late on there. And then, what was it, that 2-2 draw in Sydney later on the season? That was a great game. I remember, didn't Segacic score like an absolute worldie in that game as well? Siphoning says Central Coast Mariners should sign Caputo from City. Hey, dude, I would love Max Caputo at Mariners, being a Mariners fan myself, but it'd be hard to see City letting one of their star youngsters go. Max Caputo. So, free kick for Sydney. Joe Lolly swings it in. That's a terrible delivery, which you don't often say about Joe Lolly. But that is one to forget for the Englishman. G'day, Newy Jets. How's it going, man? Predictions for tomorrow's game. What did I say in my predictions video? I put out my predictions video earlier in the week. I think I said MacArthur to win, but I will say Newy Jets. I've been impressed with Newcastle so far. The youngsters are looking real good for them. Like Mark Milligan's been given some game time to some of their younger guys, and they were impressive. I went up to the round of 16 game, Cooks Hill United Newcastle Jets game, and yeah, they looked good. I mean, Max Burgess, Alex Badalado in midfields, they look like they're already clicking really well. So yeah, I'm sticking with my prediction of MacArthur win, but it'll be close. Do you think Central Coast Mariners should have kept Patrick Beach? Asks Siphoning. Well, I mean, you could probably say yes, considering what he's doing now. Probably one of the top goalkeepers in the league, and one of the top young Aussie goalkeepers, I think, that we have at the moment. So, yeah, the answer would probably be yes to that. Random Edits also said could be worth a shout, but Josh Bingham's playing for Hume City. He's been pretty good. Man, that's a throwback. Josh Bingham played for Mariners. When was that? 7, 8 years ago now, something like that. Josh Bingham. Yeah, he was coming through, a youngster at the Mariners. Reece Ewley with a bit of a weak shot from long range. I mean, Sydney FC, final third entries, 10 final third entries for Sydney, 9 for Auckland, so pretty even in that aspect. But for those final third entries, we haven't necessarily seen any, like, real opportunities. Winner of this game takes on Heidelberg United in the semi-finals. So it'll be a trip to Victoria. Here comes Patrick Wood. Okay, here we go. Here's Patrick Wood. Show us your pace, mate. Not sure what Woody was doing there. He was trying to go for a bit of an ambitious through ball. But those are the moments for Patrick Wood, who is at a really interesting moment in his career, where he's been at Sydney FC for what feels like forever. Went out on loan. They sent him out on loan for the second half of last season, the Perth Glory. Unfortunately for Patrick, he just didn't really do much there. But that was, the Perth Glory, a team that was struggling so much last season, not necessarily a great environment to develop in. Last season, at least. But back at Sydney FC, and no real other senior strikers in the squad at the moment, Patrick Wood, I mean, he would love a couple goals in a game like this. That's for sure. Marcus says, I think Sydney are looking for a striker, a 10 and an 8. Yeah, I think those attacking positions are definitely priority. That's for sure. Siphon says the final will be Sydney versus MacArthur. I could see that. Siphon reckons MacArthur will win the cup. I mean, wouldn't that be something though, right? Like, that would be huge if MacArthur won the cup again, like 2 consecutive years. That's a really, really admirable feat if they were to do it 2 years in a row. And not only that, that would be 3. They would if MacArthur win the cup this year, that's 3 Australia Cups in 4 years. They won it in 2022. Sydney won it in 2023. MacArthur won 2024. Imagine if the Bulls win it again. Yeah. So, yeah, it's huge, man. It's MacArthur FC. And if they do it, they are well and truly the new Cup specialists. I think, look, if MacArthur FC get through to the final, I think they're the Cup specialists. They just, for some reason, Minister Joski knows how to navigate this tournament. Jesse Randall shot maybe on target. It was drifting maybe slightly wide. Gus Hoofsloot was comfortably behind it. But that's the player Sydney FC have to be wary of in this game. Jesse Randall, who's already grabbed a few goals in this Australia Cup run so far. Got to be wary of Jesse Randall. Top young player. Here come Auckland. This is a good little build-up play. Rogerson. Sydney FC able to get it clear, but I'll tell you what, Auckland do look threatening when they get those numbers forward. Predictions for Brisbane, Central Mariners. Yes, pre-season friendly tomorrow between those two teams. Hey, it's difficult to call. I'm, as a Mariners fan, really curious to see how that game pans out, and it's our first pre-season hit out. So very curious to see how Mariners go tomorrow. I mean, just judging what the squad's looking like for the Mariners and compared to what Brisbane have done in the transfer window, I think Brisbane, being the home team, will probably get victory. But it's just pre-season; results don't mean anything. But I'm very curious to see what Mariners do. How they line up tomorrow. That's for sure. Another corner for Auckland. De Vries. Dangerous delivery. Oh my gosh, dude. Thought I was going to go in. I thought I was going to go all the way in from the corner. But Gus Hoofsloot, who I've been impressed with so far in the Australia Cup. He's looks like he may well be Sydney's new number one goalkeeper. That was a good claim. Blinker said a lot of Sydney fans are harsh on Wood. I think he's a decent backup option. His work rate is always really high. Yeah, and like he may have to settle for that role. That, as you say, the Blinker's backup option for that striker position. I wouldn't be surprised if Sydney FC do bring in someone like a Mario Balotelli and Patrick Wood as that backup striker, especially with Jaden Kaczarski departing. I mean, Patrick Wood, they'll need him. They'll need him this year. Yeah. Siphon asks thoughts on South Melbourne and Preston Lions trying to join the A-League to replace Western United. I mean, you know what? I don't know how I feel about it. But by saying that, I mean I don't have any real strong feelings about it. Like if it was announced that they were joining the A-League, I'd be like, cool, great, like something different. Team from, an NPL Victoria competition straight into the A-League. It'd be cool to see. But at the same time, I almost feel like I want the league to settle on 12 teams, maybe just for another couple of years, take a breather, and then go from there. Like we shouldn't, rush to, replace Western United. You know what I mean? Random Mendes says the Mariners will struggle without Kaltak and Docker. I mean, they're two big losses, that's for sure. So the Sky Blues on the attack in the forward half. Haven't really seen them. I don't think. I mean, how many shots have Sydney had? Like one? I don't even. They had like a tame shot from long range. Reece Yuli. Here is Yuli trying to get around Dan Hall, which is always a tricky task. Got a corner though. Casey says league definitely needs stability over having more teams. Stability is needed. Stability is needed, man. That's for sure. We're going to make sure we do things the right way going forward. We don't want teams folding. That cannot keep happening. That's the priority, man. That's the priority. That's why the whole Western United thing is a little bit upsetting. Is because like it felt like maybe we'll pass this. Like we obviously had Gold Coast United and North Queensland Fury who folded, and that feels like a lifetime ago. You know what I mean? Like what was that? Early 2010s. And yeah, it's just crazy to think Western United are actually on the verge of not existing. It can't keep happening. It cannot keep happening. It doesn't matter how you feel about Australian football, man. You cannot have teams folding in your top division. We'll see what happens. Western United have obviously made their appeal. They stated the other day. And we'll wait to hear the verdict, whether the decision gets overturned. Now, that's a dangerous challenge from Marley Francois. And it is a yellow card. Marley Francois is not happy at all. He reckons it was a clean challenge. It looked like he stepped on his foot. These replays will be interesting. Paul Ocon Jr. was down again. Having a look at these replays. Yeah, dude, what's Marley Francois on about? He's come and just trod on his foot. Francois is pleading his innocence. He just came and just stepped on him. Anyway, certainly a yellow card, nothing more. So Ivan says, I think NPL Victoria is way better than every other NPL league. I mean, there's probably an argument for that. I mean, you look at what those teams have done in the Australia Cup this year. How good Avondale and Heidelberg have been. Been good. The winner of tomorrow's quarterfinal will take on Avondale. So it'll be either Newcastle Jets or Macarthur SC. So that'll be a fascinating test for Avondale in the semi-final. Patrick Wood. I liked what he was thinking there. He's trying to get that ball over the top for Auckland, but it did sail out of play. Appreciate you guys joining us for this live watch along. We're all about building a fun community of Australian football fans here on Ozwatch Football. We've been doing a bunch of live watch alongs throughout this cup competition. One for the round of 32, round of 16, those big match days that have multiple kickoffs. Here comes Auckland FC again. Howison, Francois, cleared away. Auckland will recycle it. Marcus, great question. Who is one player who is set for a big breakout season? For me, it has to be Matthias McAllister. I think he's definitely one. Youngster out of Sydney FC, who's on the bench tonight for the Sky Blues. Here comes Auckland. Good cross, great chance. There's the goal, but it is disallowed. The whistle's gone. Guillermo May found the back of the nets. Was it offside? What must have been. Where was the offside? Anyway, the goal does not stand. No VAR in this competition. Looking at the replay, I'm looking. Where's the offside, folks? It's not DeVries. Oh, it's Jesse. Jesse Randall. Yeah, good call. Good call. No goal. But a warning sign there. Auckland FC. You get DeVries on the ball, man. He's so good with his deliveries. Yeah. Going back to the question there from Marcus, who was one player who was set to have a big breakout season. What do you guys reckon? Drop it in the chat. Who's a player who is set for a big breakout season? Gosh, put me on the spot. Big breakout season. I mean, thinking about my team, Central Coast Mariners, I look at youngsters. I think someone like Arthur De Lima could have a big breakout season. Central Coast Mariners might be given plenty of game time this season, and had a few appearances last season. Scored against Brisbane away. He's a really exciting young attacking player who could have a big campaign for Mariners. And the great thing is, there's always players who step up and shine that we don't even talk about. We don't even expect. Hey Neems says random edits. Yeah, he's another one of Mariners who he was pretty involved for Mariners last season, but considering his age, his potential, he could get even better. Sawyer will have a big breakout season in the starting 11, says Siphon. MacArthur FC. I mean, he again a striker who I think has a lot of potential to be a really dangerous striker in the A-League. Let's come back to that. Okola Khan on the attack. Love it. Great run. Oh, what a run. Okola Khan dribbling past Hiroki Sakai. Ends up in a goal kick. But the young winger there, that was good. I like that. Really positive play. Patrick Woods, again, with the long ball there. Patrick Wood showing his passing range. Great, really fearless there, Okola Khan. But he got past Sakai there a little bit easily. Went off that left wing, Okola Khan. One to watch. Speaking of players who might have a big breakout season, Okola Khan. There you go. G'day, Bob Bell. Doing well tonight, mate. Good to see you here. Welcome. Appreciate you guys joining us for tonight's live watch along. If you haven't hit the like button, feel free to do so. Support the stream, support the channel. You can also consider sending through a super chat. We are doing plenty of Australia Cup content as we get through these rounds. Quarterfinals wrap up tomorrow. And then the semi-finals are set to take place in the middle of September. I think it's September 13 and 14, that weekend. Obviously no fixture scheduled yet, but that weekend has been highlighted to the semi-finals. As far as I'm aware, I don't think they haven't announced a date for the Australia Cup final yet, which is a bit unusual. I thought they usually did announce it pretty well in advance, but we seem to generally have the Australia Cup final in the first weekend of October. We'll see what happens there. Bob says, I can't wait for the A-League to start again. Me too, Bob. Me too. Appreciate that, Bob. Yeah. Good thing we've got the Australia Cup here just to keep us occupied for the time being. And this obviously feels like an A-League fixture because it is basically, two A-League teams. Two A-League teams here who, one team who did obviously very well finishing top of the ladder, Auckland FC and Sydney FC, who just missed out on finals. De Vries with another cross. Oh, and Jesse Randall did really well to get that header off there. Or was it Rogerson? No, I think it was Randall. But again, just another example of how dangerous Francis de Vries is. When we were all picking out our team of the season for last year in the A-League, everyone had Francis de Vries at left back, basically. He was phenomenal. A bunch of assists, a few goals, right, as well. Fantastic left back, man. He was just so good for them last year. And looking dangerous tonight already. Bob Bell asks a great question here. Do you think Melbourne City can go back to back? My answer is yes, but it's not a confident yes. I think City still have a lot of work to do in the transfer window. Let's come back to that question because Reece Yule's having a go. Michael Wood with the save. And a Hall will clear it out to safety. But that was a nice move from Reece Yule for Sydney FC. Set piece coming up for Sky Blues, I think. Bob's question there, do you think Melbourne City can go back to back? I think they can, but yeah, like I said, I think they need to make some moves in the transfer window. They announced this past week Jonathan Cohen isn't returning for this season. No Marco Tilio. He's set to join a new club in Austria. So they need to make a few signings. But they still already, at this moment of time, still have a strong squad. Random minutes. Can you do a CCMFC rebuild in FC 26? Maybe, mate. Maybe we'll keep an eye on. Obviously, FC 26 coming out in a month or so. It comes out at the end of September, doesn't it? Yeah, we might have to jump back into the FC content for that. Bob asks, "How do you think Central Coast Mariners will go?" Well, being a Mariners fan, I'm hopeful that we will improve from last season, but it's tricky to say just based off the fact that we've only signed one player for this season. Random Edit says probably last. I mean, at this moment, we're looking like a bottom 4 team, unfortunately, and that's just the reality. But we'll see what Mariners do with the weeks remaining in the transfer window. 5 minutes left until half-time, folks. In what has been, I want to say, a pretty quiet first half. Not too many chances. Auckland with a disallowed goal. Here comes Patrick Wood. Driving forward. Ryan Grant. Forced wide. Joe Lolly. Sydney FC here. I mean, they haven't really had too many chances. Like a few of their shots coming from long range and from Oakland Engsler with the wrong pass there. Corbetto. G'day, Corbetto. Good question. Do you agree? Certainly an interesting question. Do you agree that Sydney FC is better than Wanderers? At this moment in time, I tell you what, Corbetto, it's quite close. It is very close. If I had to pick a team that I think is based on, just on paper, it's obviously just pre-season at the moment. I like Wanderers a little bit more. I think their squad's just got a little bit more compared to Sydney FC. But I think Wanderers have their squad sorted out a little bit more compared to Sydney FC. I think Sky Blues will still maybe make a couple more key signings. Whereas, I think Wanderers have done the majority of their business. So my answer is Wanderers there. But we'll see what Sydney do. Marcus asks another interesting question there. Who starts, Redmayne, Pavlicic, or Perech Cullen at the Mariners? Random Edit says Redmayne. Siphon doesn't think Redmayne. It's an interesting question. For me, I would go Perech Cullen, but Andrew Redmayne, like, he'll certainly keep competition high. He's certainly a reliable option. But I just look at Perech Cullen, and you want to make sure that you maintain his development. You know what I mean? He's such a young goalkeeper and had a decent season last time out. You know, it would be a shame for a promising young goalkeeper like Dylan Perech Cullen to just be sitting on the bench every week. So that's my thought. Will we get a sneaky goal before half time? Joe Lolly's away down the right wing, folks. 1-on-1 with Francis de Vries. Gets his cross in. Okolokon was almost shaping for a bicycle kick there. Ball didn't come through. And Auckland have looked pretty comfortable in defence tonight. Hey, folks. Pretty comfortable in defence. Not really bothered all that much, you have to say. As this first half is starting to wrap up. Stick around at half time. We'll be doing plenty of Q&A. If you've got any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. Anything Australian football related, A-Leagues, Socceroos, Matildas. Oh, we've got the Socceroos in action in less than 2 weeks, right? The Soccer Ashes taking on New Zealand. De Vries, another cross. Love it. So dangerous. Comes out for Randall, edge of the box. The shot is blocked. It's still there. Francois doesn't get the contact, and Sydney FC should deal with it. So, Sydney FC survive once again. Siphon, that's an interesting question. Do you think Patrick Beach could play at the FIFA World Cup in 2026? I don't think so. It's probably a bit early, and considering some of the other goalkeepers we have there to choose from for the Socceroos. You look at Matty Ryan, Joe Gauchi, Izzo, Lawrence Thomas, Tommy Glover. Like, there's a lot of options there. So, but hey, I mean, Patrick Beach, we expect will be playing week in, week out this season, and if he has a top season, then he could be in the conversation for the Socceroos World Cup squad. Siphon also reckons Brisbane's going to be a top 6 team. Who would win the Australian Championship? Great question, Nick M. Welcome to the live chat, Nick. It's a tough one, hey, because it's obviously going to be so much fun to watch the first edition of the Australian Championship later this year. But because you've got so many different teams from so many different leagues competing against each other, so it's always difficult to compare. I look at some of those teams from NPL Victoria who are going to be super dangerous. Avondale have been so good this year, as of Heidelberg United. Sydney United 58 could be really dangerous in that tournament as well. Here's a corner for Auckland. And look at the way the players have bunched around the goalkeeper here. Wow, dude. I mean, this is a classic Auckland FC. They do it a lot. 1 minute at a time. So this may well be the final play. Dan Hall's header goes over the bar. Who will win the Australian Championship? Siphon Lightning says either South Melbourne, Sydney Olympic, or Heidelberg. I mean, you got plenty of teams in the running. Hey, Nick M says Avondale. My 2 cents. So, 0-0 at halftime, ladies and gentlemen, in this Australia Cup quarter-final matchup. Well, maybe not just yet. The halftime whistle hasn't blown. Patrick Woods in behind. Great chance. Akola Khan just away. Why are we still playing on, dude? We're clicked over a minute over what we were supposed to play. Holman keeps it alive. He crosses in, but that delivery sails out. So that is half-time. 0-0. Not too many golden opportunities for either team, really. I mean, which team is on top? It's hard to say. I think it's been pretty even, hey? What did you guys make of that first half? Let us know in the live chats. And if you've got any questions, throw it in, man. Let's start the discussion. Got another quarterfinal up tomorrow. Newcastle Jets Macarthur FC. That'll be a fun game to watch as well. Will Segicic score tonight? Well, not for Sydney FC. Are Portsmouth playing tonight? Let me. Who are Portsmouth playing tonight? Are they playing? We've obviously been following Adrian Segicic's journey very closely. What a start to life at Portsmouth. Nick says yes, and it looks like they're playing West Brom away in the English Championship tonight. So will Segicic score tonight? I'm going to say yes, man. Let's keep this goal-scoring form running. And if he does, dude, if he scores again tonight, he has to be in that Socceroos squad. There is no doubt about it. There is it's just so obvious that he has to be in the Socceroos squad now. Yeah. G'day, Nicholas. Any news about Western United? The last thing we heard was, I think, a few days ago, that Western posted about how they'd sent in their appeal. Hey, that's what they did. I want to look up exactly what they said. Western United. I don't want to get it wrong. We're obviously everyone's closely following that story. So 3 days ago, Western United shared on their socials that they confirm it has today lodged an appeal to Football Australia's decision to withdraw its A-League licence. They won't be making any further comments. So that's all they said, 3 days ago, they lodged their appeal. So now we wait. Hey? Now we wait. What do you guys think? You reckon it will be overturned? You know what I was thinking about? With the Western United thing? It feels like it probably won't be overturned. That's just my own feeling. But here's the thing, right? Imagine, just stay with me for a second. Imagine if the Western United decision does get overturned. Imagine what it will do for that club, and imagine how it will change the narrative around that club. There's been so much talk around Western United and Macarthur SC about how they were the wrong choices for A-League expansion, and everyone can have your own opinion on that, whatever. If this decision on Western United gets overturned and they survive, they're gonna come back so strong, I reckon. It's gonna be a huge story of this team who defied the odds in a way, I guess. Imagine if they come back. I don't know. That's just, yeah. It'd be great. Wouldn't it be awesome if the decision gets overturned and they do get to stick around here? Simon says, in my opinion, South Melbourne should have got the A-League license over adding Western United. A lot of people feel that way, that's for sure. Yeah. All right, what else are we saying here? It's half time. Sydney FC 0, Auckland FC 0. Random Edit says, I think it's time to give Mark Jackson the sack if results don't improve in 10 games. Yeah, it's if Mariners don't make finals this season, it might be time to part ways. Yeah, just for everyone involved. I think Mark Jackson, obviously, we will forever remember Mariners' treble winning campaign. Mark Jackson's first season in charge. Last season was disappointing, very disappointing for the Mariners. If Central Coast Mariners don't improve at all this coming season, then yeah, probably have to part ways. I think that's no surprise. Bob, that's a good question. Do you think Raw or Perth will have a good season? There's reasons for both sets of fans to be optimistic. I know some of the performances from Glory this preseason maybe haven't been amazing, but the squads that they have should make them more competitive. I don't think... will they have a good season? I'm not confident enough to say yes, but I think they will be more competitive. I don't think we'll have the same situation last year. We shouldn't forget how bad those teams were last season. They were so bad. I mean, we're just talking about Central Coast Mariners and how they really struggled last season. Same thing with Wellington Phoenix. But they were like a fair distance. They were towards the bottom of the ladder, but they were a fair distance off Brisbane and Perth Glory last season. Brisbane and Perth Glory were so bad last season. They just were not winning games, conceding goals left, right, and centre. They were not competitive. They were not competitive teams anywhere near it last season. So I don't think we'll have that same situation this time around. There's no real teams in the A League who I think will be that club who will just like lose like almost every game. I think it'll be competitive. Yeah. Bob says, I could not believe what I heard about West United when it happened. Yeah, I mean, all of us were a bit shocked, weren't we? Yeah. Bob mentions that Roar won their last 2 games last year. That they did. Remember when they beat Mariners in that final round of the season? Away. So, half-time in this quarterfinal, Australia Cup. Sydney FC 0, Auckland FC 0. 45 minutes to come. Potentially more, of course. We may need extra time. And maybe after that penalty shootout to decide the winner. And I'll tell you what, at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if it's heading in that direction, considering that it's been pretty evenly matched and no real, clear opportunities. They're showing the stats on the broadcast. Shots. 9 shots for Auckland, 3 for Sydney. That's slightly surprising. I wouldn't have said Auckland had that many. But there you go, 9 all up. Possession very even, 51-49. And just 1 shot on target for each team as well. So it's been pretty quiet in terms of actual action in front of the goal. G'day, Boston. Welcome to the live chat, mate. Welcome. The XG there as well. We always love looking at the XG. XG there for Sydney FC was looking very low. I think it was 0.06. Very low. That's right, Boston. Sydney FC fan living up on the coast is Boston. Sky Blues looking for another Australia Cup triumph. They won it a couple of years ago, 2023. The Sydney clubs have had a lot of success in this tournament in recent years, that's for sure. Blinker says, hope we see McAllister on soon. Yeah, well, he got the winner against Western United in the round of 32, did Matthias McAllister, and wouldn't be surprised if we see him brought on if Sydney FC have not got on the score sheet. Well, on the sideline right now on the Paramount Plus broadcast, they are currently interviewing new signing Marcel Tisserand, who has joined Sydney FC for the upcoming campaign. That's a top signing for the Sky Blues as well. Top signing. Marcel Tisserand, who's got decent experience playing at some good leagues overseas, over in Europe. He was at Saudi Arabia last year, I believe, wasn't he? So this is a guy who brings great experience to Sydney FC, and I think he's the kind of player. 2-year deal, in fact, it was for Marcel Tisserand. I think he's the kind of player who Sydney missed last season. You know what I mean? I think it really did, just because Aussie defence was a real shaky area of the field for Sydney last season. So Marcel Tisserand, great signing. And there you go. As Marcus just asked, what do you make of Marcel Tisserand? So yeah, there you go. There's your answer. I think it's a top signing. As good as it gets, I think. Siphon asks, hasn't there only been 2 penalty shootouts this cup? Yeah, in the final rounds of the Australia Cup, we had Brisbane City Olympic Kingsway. That was our last live watch along as well. There was a shootout there. And Perth Glory Wellington Phoenix. I don't think we've had any others, hey. I think it's just been those 2. I think you're right. Crazy results in those other two quarterfinals, hey. Heidelberg United with that 4-0 win over Wellington Phoenix. Just an incredible result there for Heidelberg. And Avondale defeating Brisbane City 6-2. Avondale, Manny Agwek. You guys watched that game on Wednesday night? Avondale FC. Just far too strong for Brisbane City on that night. And Manny Agwek just looked fantastic for Avondale. Top player. Very, very good. Very, very good performance. Of course, soccer is back in action in a couple weeks, taking on New Zealand for a couple games. Playing in Canberra on Friday, September 5, and then the following Tuesday over in Auckland. Those games will be fun. We're very curious to see who will be named in the Socceroos squad. New Zealand already named their squad this past week. Generally, we seem to get the Socceroos squads like maybe the Friday beforehand. So, I mean, we don't know exactly when we're going to get it this time around, but maybe Friday, Saturday, we'll see. Hopefully even sooner. But yeah, for the Socceroos squads, they generally wait till pretty late on. But I think we're all really excited about the Socceroos squad for this new season. There really are like a lot of players who could potentially come through and make their debut for the Socceroos at this upcoming window. Adrian Segicic, I think, is the one that we're all keeping an eye on at the moment. But you look at Nicholas Milanovic, even someone like Keely Adamson, who could maybe come in a right back. Who else? I mean, even players who could sort of make a return as well. Yeah, there's a lot. My point is, there's a lot of competition for places in the Socceroos squad at the moment, that's for sure. So I'm very excited about this upcoming Socceroos squad. And hopefully we do get it pretty soon. I'm sure we will. All right, what else are we saying here? MacArthur need to have a better season, says Bob. I think they will. Ricardo, g'day, Ricardo. I'm still in Portugal. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Boston says next month we should get the A-League fixtures. Surely in September, which will be... We're set to get these. This was one of the latest drops of A-League fixtures, I think, ever. If we get it next month. It's very late. They usually drop August, sometimes like July. But yeah, just obviously... And like, what can they do, hey? Like, with the Western United situation... There's not much they can do. There was talks that we were already set to get the fixture release, but the Western United situation has sort of thrown everything up in the air. So, we are very much looking forward to that fixture announcement when it does finally come. Yes, I did see that siphoning. Did you see the World Cup draw was announced for December 5th? Yeah. Not a great time for Australians. 3 a.m. on the east coast of Australia. So that's not fun. But that is obviously going to be a huge day so we find out who we will be playing in the World Cup next year, Australia. Auckland FC returning to the field for the second half. I mean, dude, we should talk about these benches too. Possible substitutes. Auckland FC by far have a stronger bench. I think just looking at the experience and quality they have. Auckland FC have the likes of Louis Verstraete, Jake Brimmer, new signing Sam Cosgrove there, Lockie Brook, William Gillian among the substitutes. Sydney FC, a very young bench. Earlier we were talking in the live chat about Matthias McAllister. Wataru Kamijo's there, Joe Lacey as well, Tiago Quintal. So, options. Well, Looks like Jake Brimmer might be coming on. He's on the sidelines ready to go. Great depth that Auckland FC have. So many players to choose from. I love the optimism, Siphon. Wild shout. But for me, Australia to win the World Cup, dude, that's the kind of energy that we need. Ricardo says apparently the semis are next weekend. Well, that would be surprising. I believe they've already said that the semis will be in mid-September. But where have you seen that, Ricardo? Feel free to let us know. But I do think I saw that the Australia Cup said that the semi-finals were meant to be on the 13th and 14th of September. But hey, if the semi-finals were next weekend, that'd be cool too. No worries, Boston. Thanks for jumping in. Second half about to get underway here between Sydney FC and Auckland FC. Two A-League teams in this quarterfinal. Second half is underway. Jump in the live chat, say g'day, hit the like button if you haven't done so already. We do have a substitution. Cam Howison is off. Jake Brimmer is on. Jake Brimmer. Previously a Johnny Warren Medal winner. Playing in the centre of the park alongside Felipe Gallegos. So who will take control of the second half early on? Possession was very even in that first half. Good point made there by Blinkers. Howison was on a yellow, seems sensible, yeah. A few players on a yellows, right? Colacon's on a yellow, I think, as well. Marley Francois was on a yellow as well, hey? Ricardo mentions that Heidelberg and Avondale have the weekend off. NPL Victoria Grand Finals in mid-September. Well, there we go. There we go. We'll keep an eye on what comes out from the Australia Cup. Breaking news. Just got a notification. Nestor Irankunda is starting tonight for Watford. Nestor Irankunda playing against Swansea City. And Cameron Burgess also starting. Couple Aussies featuring in the same fixture there. Nestor Irankunda, Cameron Burgess. Swansea v Watford in the English Championship. That has just been announced. Nestor Irankunda. Will he be recalled to the Socceroos squad? Casey also mentioned that commentary did say that could happen as early as next weekend. I mean, that would be interesting. They haven't confirmed the date for the Australia Cup final, but here comes Patrick Wood. Cross misses everyone. Comes out for Grant. Holman. Ryan Grant hangs it up. Away by Sakai. Auckland deal with it. Yeah, usually the Australia Cup final is like the first weekend of October, around then. But so like if the semi-finals are like next weekend, for example, that's like a long wait. Basically like over a month until the final. So who knows? Maybe the Australia Cup final is going to be pulled back to an earlier date. G'day, Adstar. They will allow Nestri to establish himself in the championship. Look, and hopefully he is set for a great season at Watford. Hopefully he is indeed starting week in, week out and continues to develop his game there. Still very young and a very bright career ahead of him, Nestri Irankunda. It's great to see so many Aussies getting some good game time across a number of the leagues in Europe, over in the MLS, English Championship, of course, as well. So many Aussies there now. Scotland. De Vries, another delivery. Sydney FC, well, they seem to be pretty wary of these De Vries deliveries. The Sydney FC backline, they've been pretty switched on when they fly in. Another one from De Vries, and Gus Hussloot claims that, well, I like Gus Hussloot, man. That was like, even just that little moment there, very commanding in his own box. Young goalkeeper. And there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders, I think, for this upcoming season. Siphon asks, wasn't an Aussie linked with Wrexham? Was an Aussie linked? I'm trying to think if any Aussie players were linked with Wrexham. Can't recall. There probably was. There probably maybe was some news on that, but nothing has happened. There is a former A-League player who's now at Wrexham in Liberato Kikache, New Zealand player. He's at Wrexham. Yeah, but if you guys can think of any Aussie players who are maybe linked to Wrexham. Adstar also said they may call in Segacic out of fear of him changing nations. Yeah, like, as far as we're aware, he's eligible to represent Croatia, right, as well. Hopefully he does play for Sydney FC as well. Sorry, Sydney FC. Hopefully he does play for Australia. Sydney FC would love Adrian Segacic back at the club, of course. Paul O'Connor-Engsler's down, hurt. Heavy collision with Sakai. Very strong contact there. And this is like a little bit concerning. O'Connor-Engsler, we're talking about him earlier as maybe a key player for Sydney this year. Looks a little bit sore after that heavy challenge from Hiroki Sakai. But thankfully he's back on his feet now. Siphon says, I think City needs to sign an experienced striker. That would definitely be a smart move, I reckon. I mean, you look at Max Caputo, who is a good striker, but still very young. So, yeah, an experienced striker there would be good for City. Ocon Jr. looks all right to continue. Good to see. Paul Ocon-Engsler. He's got Ocon Jr. on the back of his shirt. So perhaps he wants us to refer to him as Paul Ocon Jr. What's going on here? Drop ball? Free kick? The referee's having a conversation with a number of players. No one knows if it's a drop ball or not. What's going on here? Auckland players aren't happy. There's going to be a drop ball. This is very bizarre. Callan Elliott looks bemused. Sydney FC have the drop ball and retain possession. Anyway. Yeah. And you're right there as well, Siphon. Yes. Replacement for Coleman and Tilio. Yeah. That's the thing with City. We were talking about it a little bit earlier tonight, but I think they will be a top 6 side once again. I don't know if they'll be right at the top this season, but it's all about what signings they make in the next few weeks. And they are historically a team who make moves late in the transfer window. Melbourne City, they take their time with their scouting. So I think we'll hear some big moves from Melbourne City in the coming weeks. That's just my feeling. Siphon mentions that at least with Cohen leaving, they have room for another beta player. That's a good point. Still no goals between these two teams. Lacking perhaps a little bit of quality in the final third. As, of course, we're still in pre-season for the A-League teams. But this is both teams' third fixture in the Cup now. Sydney FC driving forward through midfield, Corey Holman. Alex Grant. Starting tonight, Alex Grant, after not starting in the other couple of fixtures in the Cup. But when you look at those centre-back options now for Sydney, it's looking a lot stronger. Grant, Popovich, we've got Aaron Gerd, who'll come back from injury, and of course, new signing Marcel Tisserand. Joel King starting at left back. Jordan Courtney Perkins obviously still in the conversation as well. Ryan Grant over at right back. Good sweeper keeper play there from Gus Hoofsloot, who is having a good game tonight, I think. He's having a good game. Marcus saying, how is it only 55 minutes in this game? Wood. Oh, nicely done. He's pulled up, saw there, Patrick Wood. Play on. Oh, great ball. Akola Con. Almost a great ball, in fact. I love the idea. He was just trying to just curl it over the top for Yuli, but a little bit too much on it. But Akola Con has impressed me tonight as well. The young winger playing off that left wing. New signing for Sydney FC, who has a lot of promise. Adster asks, will they have a penalty shootout if no goals are scored? We will have extra time. And if it's still even then after that, then a penalty shootout. So we could be set for a long evening, folks. Saturday night primetime fixture in the Cup. Sydney FC, Auckland FC. Patrick Wood just currently receiving a bit of treatment for that late challenge on him. Is this live? Absolutely, Neo. Oh, sorry, there's your question. Apologies, Neo. Is it live on Paramount Plus? Yes, it is. It is on available to watch on Paramount Plus. Which has been a change for the Cup this year. They usually show all the games on 10 Play, but they changed it up this year where they generally show couple of the key games on Paramount Plus and the others on 10 Play, but all 4 quarterfinals have been exclusively on Paramount Plus. G'day, Fortnite. Thanks, mate. Thanks for checking in. Good to see you here. Appreciate it. Patrick Wood is back on the field and he's all right. Good to see after that late challenge. So, as this game starts to wear on in the second half, who will step up and make the breakthrough? We've had one substitution so far. Jake Brimmer did come on for Cam Harrison in the Auckland midfield. He is yet to really influence this game just yet. Patrick Wood. He's been lively tonight, Wood, hasn't he? And Auckland's played out. It's a corner for Sydney. Patrick Wood has been very, very lively tonight. I mean, we were talking about him a little bit in detail in that first half. And as a player who feels like he needs to really step up this season, he's got an opportunity now to do that. And he's clearly wants to get involved. He's getting involved in the build-up play quite a lot tonight. Even playing a lot of long balls across the field. Reece Yuli's corner isn't great. So I can't have for a throw. Reece Yuli, another smart signing for Sydney. Another one of these really exciting, young, promising Aussie midfielders who returns to Australia after heading over to Europe. Still very early on in his career as well. That does sound familiar, Siphon. I feel like I did hear that somewhere. Is that actually true, that they're cousins? No. Blinker says Ocon has been solid in Sydney's mids. Yep. Yep. He looks like a top signing, man, and he could be in for a really big season. He really could. Paul Ocon Jr. in that Sydney midfield. Free kick here for Sydney FC. Some of the Sky Blues players. Now, what's going on here? Sky Blues players not happy. I'll be honest, I missed the challenge. I want to see a replay. Reece Yuli was down. Here's the replay. I think it was a heavy challenge. I mean, I think the question they're probably asking is why hasn't Hiroki Sakai picked up a yellow card yet? Because this is not the first time that Hiroki Sakai has come in with a strong challenge. He did it, a very similar challenge against Paul Ocon Jr. not too long ago. And now has sweeped in to wipe out Reece Yuli. Still no yellow card for Hiroki Sakai, who's very strong with his challenges tonight. Yuli's free kick is headed away. Auckland deal with it. Neo says, I can't believe it's already been 3 months since the grand final. Also says, best game I've ever watched, by the way. The long A-League off-season. Kajagos. With a shot from long range. Kept it down low, but the direction, the accuracy was not there for the Chilean midfielder. Adstar says, I thought West United was already kicked out of the A-League. Well, the license has been removed, so I guess they have been kicked out, but they have made the appeal. It was announced a few days ago. They've submitted their appeal, and we'll hear the final results in the next week or so, I imagine. Siphon asks, isn't the championship at the same time as the A-League? Yes. If the dates are going to stay as they are, the Australian Championship will kick off 1 week before the A-League men's season kicks off. And the championship will be played through those first few months of the A-League season as well. So, and of course, that was another big announcement this past week. The fixtures for the Australian Championship have been revealed. The dates and times and all that, which is great. So, it's really cool that we're seeing some of those games kicking off at like 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock on the east coast of Australia. And that'll, we imagine, will lead into the A-League games kicking off at like 5 o'clock and 7:30. So on a Saturday. So Saturdays could be really fun for Australian football fans. You've got a couple of championship fixtures and then the A-League. Dude, again, I just want to say, like, everyone's can have their own opinion. I'm really not a fan of the name Australian Championship. I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know. I just feel like they could have found something better. Australian Championship. I feel like that's going to confuse a lot of fans. Well, sorry, not a lot of fans. Like it's not going to confuse like the fans like us who like follow these things closely. But it's going to confuse a lot of casuals. What I'm trying to say. Like when you hear the tournament, the Australian Championship, it sounds like it's like the premier competition, like number one. But yeah, so that's just me. And obviously, over in England, they've got the English Championship. That's the second division. But I don't know, man. I feel like they could have found something better. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Siphon's heading to that opening match for the championship. South Melbourne, Sydney Olympic. Love it. Great to hear. Neo asks, why was Western stripped of their license? There was a number of things, wasn't it? Had a number of issues going on. No, the ownership situation was certainly up in the air. The new owners reportedly hadn't submitted any something got to do with the application. Hey, there's a lot of things in regards to West United that were up in the air. That FIFA ban as well. They were unable to register new players. bunch of things going on at Western United. So I imagine all those things really contributed. Here comes Joe Lowley for Sydney FC, who just slips when trying to make that cross. Still, we wait for the game's first goal. Should the A-League be abolished? It's a big no. Certainly not. That star raises that point as well. Western United failed to pay players. Some of those payments were late, weren't they? I think they're up to date now, aren't they? From what we've heard from the reports, those payments are up to date. But there was reports that the players weren't receiving payments on time, which obviously isn't great either. So there was a lot of worrying things already coming out of Western United, and Football Australia made that decision to remove the license. Oh, chance. Jesse Randall. Good covering from Popovic, but Randall was almost in behind there for Auckland FC. Dude, it feels like this goal's coming. There's been a couple, in like the last 5 or 10 minutes, there's been a couple little openings for teams. It feels like as we passed the hour mark here now, maybe the game's opening goal is around the corner. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, man. Good throw in from Callan Elliott. Comes out to Gazegos. There's Gahono, mate. First touch isn't great. And it's cleared away. Appreciate you guys joining us for our live watch along. We're going to be doing a bunch of these live streams throughout the upcoming A-League season. So if you don't want to miss them, hit the subscribe button. Stick around. Akolakon, he's been good tonight. Oh, dude. Well, Akolakon was maybe half a metre away from scoring one of the all-time great Australia Cup goals. But he's just shown us there what he is capable of. Dude, that was not far off. It was dipping. Akolakon just went for a cracking strike from 30 metres out, and it almost dipped in. Michael Wood probably had it covered, though, to be fair. So it's another change for Auckland FC. Lockie Brook is on to replace Marley Francois. Looks like Logan Rogerson will go over to the left wing, perhaps. Brook off that right wing. But new signing here for Auckland FC. Appearing once again. He was at Adelaide United and Western Sydney Wanderers previously. Now at Auckland. It's a top signing for Auckland FC, who are looking to maintain that quality that they have in their squad. G'day, Master FUT. Haven't seen you in a while, says Master. Good to see you here, mate. Welcome to the live stream, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Siphon says best Australia Cup goal of all time was the Marko Jankovic free kick against Brisbane Olympic from halfway yet, half the pitch to win the match. I remember that one. Siphon, that was incredible for South Melbourne. That was last year, wasn't it? Yeah. Last year? Was the year before? Neo asks, does Sydney have to play in a different stadium for part of next season? Reportedly, that may be well indeed what happens. I don't think anything official has been announced yet. But yeah, there's been a lot of talk about Allianz Stadium and drainage issues and work they have to do there. Here comes my great chance for Auckland. And it doesn't fall for them in the end. Sydney can bring it away. This game is starting to open up a little bit. Sky Blue's looking for that quick counter-attack. Corey Holman's long ball. Patrick Wood will keep this in. Here comes Woody. Taking him on. Oh, dude. He did well there. Dude, Patrick Wood is like showing some really good glimpses tonight. He did really well to get around Elliott. Sent the ball in, but the direction just wasn't there. He's looking for a teammate. Couldn't find anyone. Adstar asks, when does Australia play New Zealand next? It's pretty soon. September 5. Friday, September 5, Australia hosts New Zealand in Canberra. And then they play again the following Tuesday over in Auckland. 2 games for the Socceroos and New Zealand against each other in just a couple weeks. So that'll be fun. Joe Lolly to swing it in. Auckland clear it. A lot of energy, a lot of industry, a lot of, great effort shown by these players, but no reward yet for Sydney FC or Auckland FC. Does anyone remember Terry Antonis' halfway goal? Yes, I do, Neo, and I remember unbelievably that goal did not win goal of the season. It was season before last, of course, 2023-24 season. Can you guys believe that goal from Terry Antonis from Melbourne City didn't win goal of the season? Bruno Fornaroli won it that season with a great goal himself, like a great curling effort from outside the box, but surely Terry Antonis should have won goal of the season there. Incredible long-range goal. But yeah, didn't win it, which I remember just being stunned by. Here comes Auckland, folks. Left wing, De Vries. Cleared away by Sydney. Same story again. Auckland FC just need to find, just going to try and link up a little bit better. Same thing for Sydney, though. They're moving up the field really well, both of these teams, but they're not quite linking up with their attackers. Unable to find, those clear-cut opportunities in front of goal. It hasn't really been there. Michael Wood and Gus Hussler tonight haven't really been troubled. There hasn't been many shots on target tonight. It's been pretty quiet for the goalies. So I often reckon Sydney's going to win this game last minute. It may well come down to the wire, man. It may well come down to one crucial moment towards the end. 20 minutes to go. Of course, if it stays level, we are going to extra time. Here's the header, though. Oh! Best chance of the game. Yeheremone. Diving header. But Gus Hussler was there to catch it. That was good. That was good. Good ball in. And May, who scored a handful of goals in his debut A-League season last year, was not too far away at all there. Looks like Sydney FC are preparing their first change of the game. Thiago Quintal on the bench. Set to come on. Siphon says, if Central Coast Mariners win the A-League, I'll buy a Central Coast Mariners shirt. There we go. Well, hey, you know what the great thing about the A-League is? You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. It's so hard to predict. Michael Wood clears that ball out. Speaking of Michael Wood for Auckland FC, and the goalkeeper position, Auckland FC this past week announced the signing of Ollie Sale, New Zealand international goalkeeper from Perth Glory. Not involved in the matchday squad tonight, Ollie Sale. I'm pretty sure. Is that right? He's not on the bench, is he? Don't think so. Substitution for Sydney FC. Thiago Quintal is coming on. Great player to bring on, man. He's a really exciting youngster, and he has replaced Patrick Wood, who for 72 minutes put in a really decent shift. I think he was all right tonight, Patrick Wood, doing a lot of creative work. Considering he was playing as a striker, he was doing more work as a playmaker more often than not. Hey. Substitution for Auckland FC as well. Louis Vestrata, who is a regular figure in that Auckland FC midfield, is on to replace Felipe Gallegos, who was good tonight as well. Louis Vestrata, one of the top defensive midfielders in the league last year. Adstar says, just watched the Terry Antonis goal. A very cheeky strike. Feel sorry for the goalkeeper. Dude, it was incredible, wasn't it? And it was against his former team as well. It was against the Wanderers. Siphon says, isn't Ollie Sale technically a traitor because he didn't play for the Phoenix? You mean because he did, I assume you mean because he did play for the Phoenix, he's a traitor? Obviously, a former Wellington Phoenix goalkeeper there. Now we're at Auckland FC. A couple of former Wellington Phoenix players at Auckland FC. Callan Elliott, another one. Who else? Who else at Auckland FC is a former Wellington player? I'm just trying to think through the squad right now. No one else is coming to mind. There probably are a couple. You guys can probably remind me of them. So Louis Verstraete, a great player to bring off the bench, man. Just to sort of settle things down in midfield. Maybe just halt those dangerous Sydney FC counterattacks. Really rate Louis Verstraete, Belgium defensive midfielder, tall, strong, was really dominant. I remember watching him in that first game for Auckland FC at home, that win against Brisbane Roar, and he looked very, very impressive early on. Neo says it's sad that Galloway went to Auckland. Well, yeah, I mean, it's sad that he struggled to get game time there. I believe he was out with injury for a lot of last season, Scotty Galloway. But yeah, it's interesting that that another A-League club hasn't picked him up yet. As a Mariners fan, he's someone that I would love to see Mariners go for, Scott Galloway. Great A-League experience. My forward ball for Brook. Logan Rogerson over on that left wing now. Verstraete, De Vries, Auckland FC looking dangerous now. De Vries wins a corner for his team. 75 minutes of football have been played at Jubilee Stadium in Cogra. 0-0 in this quarterfinal between Sydney FC and Auckland FC. But I'll tell you what, this goal's coming, man. I can feel it in my bones. Clearly, not all the stadium has been open for this game. No fans on that far side of the stadium. A lot of the fans on this near side where the cameras are located. But does look like there's some decent numbers there. The Cove, of course, there in support. And I'm sure there's maybe a number of Auckland FC fans in attendance as Brimmer whips in a corner. Cleared away. Siphoning says it's sad that Wong doesn't start for City. Well, I mean, maybe he will start. Maybe he will be a regular starter this season. Lawrence Wong looked very promising for City last season in his limited minutes. So, I mean, we're talking a little bit earlier about like players who could really break out this season. Lawrence Wong, again, had somewhat of a breakout season last year, but yeah, he could really step up this year. He could be a key player for Melbourne City this year. I could see it happen. Hey, we were talking about it earlier. I think it was Marcus. A few people in the chat were highlighting this guy a bit earlier. Matthias McAllister is on, substituting into the match for Reece Yuli. So Sydney's two central attackers have been changed out. Now Tiago Quintal and Matthias McAllister leading the line for Sydney FC. McAllister has been in good form for Sydney FC's NPL New South Wales team. Son of former great A-League striker Dylan McAllister, player who spent time at Melbourne Heart, Gold Coast United, Central Coast Mariners. Some of perhaps the older, I say older, but I'm not old, am I? And I remember Dylan McAllister. But it is cool to see that, like, in recent years now, in the last couple of years, we've seen a few players coming through who are like children of former A-League players. Ethan Alagic at Adelaide United, the son of Richie Alagic. Who else is there? What players of former players are we seeing now? Who are the children of former players? Ethan Alagic. There's going to be heaps more that I'm forgetting now. Oh, Bernardo Oliveira, who's at MacArthur SC. He's the son of Cassio, legendary left back at Adelaide United in the early seasons. There's definitely some more I'm forgetting. Here comes Auckland FC down the left. They've really looked to utilise that left wing Auckland in their attacks. Francis De Vries on that left side. Vidmar, yeah. Kane Vidmar, who was at Western United last season. The son of Tony Vidmar, right? Son of Tony Vidmar? I'm pretty sure. Obviously, there's Aurelio Vidmar, who's head coach in Melbourne City. Tony Vidmar did play at Central Coast Mariners. Popovic, yes. Thank you, siphoning as well. Christian Popovic at MacArthur SC, of course, son of Tony Popovic. Game's going to be halted here. Got a player down, sitting on the turf by the sideline. Not sure who it is. It's a Sydney FC player. There's been a few Sydney players down injured in this game. Luckily, no serious injuries by the looks of things so far, but yeah. Thiago Quintal was just down there for a moment after, well, a bit of a heavy shoulder-to-shoulder with an Auckland FC defender, and maybe pulled up a little sore there. Quintal, who's looks like he might be all right to continue. Hey, this is a big moment in this game. It is an Auckland FC debut for Sam Cosgrove, English striker. Very tall man, 6'4", I'm pretty sure. Plenty of experience in the English lower divisions. Spent some time over at Scotland as well. But this looks like a really good signing for Auckland FC. I like it. Sam Cosgrove joining Auckland FC this season. And I could see him partnering Guilherme May in that attack for Auckland FC this season. But because they sort of last season had Max Mata alongside May, but Max Mata obviously departing the club, and now Cosgrove is there. Looks like he's sort of that straight replacement. Yeah. Should the visa rule be scrapped or not? Siphoning, I'm comfortable with it. I'm okay with it personally. Yeah. So Sam Cosgrove has just entered the field, replacing, interestingly enough, Jesse Randall, the in-form player of the Australia Cup so far with a few goals. He is off. So Cosgrove on. Here comes Joe Lolly into the box. Great run. Shot was blocked. Good defending there by Francis de Vries, but it is a corner. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate you guys joining us for this live watch-along Australia Cup quarter-final. The winner of this game will play Heidelberg United. That's not an easy matchup, man. Heidelberg, no one wants to play Heidelberg United. They defeated Wanderers, they defeated Wellington. No one wants to play Heidelberg United. But it will be Heidelberg's toughest test. Either of these teams that they come up against. Well, this is disappointing to see. Thiago Quintal is going to be substituted off here after just being brought on. Joe Lacey's on. Joe Lacey, who scored that wonderful goal against Wrexham in that preseason friendly a couple months back. Back in July, in fact. So Joe Lacey, first involvement is to take his corner, but it's going to be called back because the referee wasn't happy with something. But Thiago Quintal, hopefully he's okay. He pulled up looking a little sore after that shoulder-to-shoulder collision earlier. But moments after coming on, Thiago Quintal has been substituted off. Hopefully he's okay. But Joe Lacey's on. We're in the final stages of regular time. It feels like, as the minutes tick by, man, extra time feels more and more likely. G'day, Jeff, who says, what a good story Heidelberg is. Absolutely. I mean, it's just been, what a fairy tale run it has been. And not only in the Australia Cup, but the NPL Victoria season has obviously been fantastic. A 2-2 draw today, though, for Heidelberg, but they are indeed set to feature in the Australian Championship later this year. But Heidelberg United, that win against Wanderers, we did a live watch-along for that a few weeks ago. And, of course, Heidelberg United with their win over Wellington Phoenix this past week. That 4-0 win. Like, it wasn't just... Because that's the thing with Heidelberg United. It's not like they've just been, like, sneaking in with these, like... With these, one-goal victories over A-League teams for these cup set wins. They've been beating these A-League sides convincingly. It's been really impressive. Here comes Auckland. Great chance! Brook scores! Auckland make the breakthrough! Late on in regular time. And it's Lockie Brook who has his first goal for Auckland FC. Finally, the deadlock is broken. And it's Auckland FC. Lockie Brook, unmarked at the far post. Sydney FC's defence fell asleep at the back post. 1-0. Great move. Guillermo Mai feeding it in for Rogerson. And Gus Hoofsloot, who's been really strong in goals tonight, maybe could have done better with that save because it fell straight into the path of Lockie Brook, who scored the easiest goal of his career so far. Auckland FC are barely minutes away from an Australia Cup semi-final in their first ever attempt. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Incredible. Lockie Brook, what an impact off the bench. What a moment for him. He did so well at Western Sydney Wanderers a couple of years ago, back in the A-League, this time with Auckland. A player with enormous potential, still Lockie Brook. Sydney FC, maybe questions need to be asked in regards to where the defence was there, that back stick. Here comes Auckland once again. Guillermo May can't control. And Sydney FC. Now, here's the interesting thing for the Sky Blues. They need to respond. They are trailing with a few minutes to go. This is a real test here in pre-season for Sydney FC. How do they respond against this adversity? Ocon Jr. for King. Great chance! Oh, Sydney score! Joe Lolly hits back instantly. And it's 1-1. Oh, drama at Jubilee Stadium. The Cove love it. And Joe Lolly sliding in, not too dissimilar to Auckland's goal. Oh, wow. Neo loves it. Jeff loves it. 1-1, says Blinkus. Oh, my goodness. Well, what happened there? Ocon Jr. for King? What on earth happened there? I mean, Auckland FC's defence falling asleep. Who was tracking the run of Joe Lolly? All of a sudden, after what has been a relatively quiet game, not too many clear-cut opportunities, 2 goals out of thin air. Oh my goodness. Wow, dude. 1-1. Dude, imagine if you just ducked off to the kitchen there for a second to grab a drink. You come back. All of a sudden it's 1-1. After barely any opportunities all game. Wow, and literally just prior to that Joe Lolly goal, we were saying, how does Sydney FC respond to this adversity? Well, that's how they respond. Instantly replying there through Joe Lolly, who has scored plenty of goals for Sydney FC in his career in Australia so far. And adds another one here in the Cup. And extra time may well be on the cards. Sydney FC. Can they use that moment there, celebrating with the fans, their home fans, to take them on to win this game here before extra time? Joe Lolly down the right, looking hungry for more. De Vries with the block. Auckland FC, I mean, we all know how good they are in defence there. That was a really uncharacteristic moment at the back for the team from New Zealand. How was Joe Lolly not tracked at the far post? That's the question. Wow. Joe Lolly again. Feeding through Grants. Oh, there's a call for a handball. Referee's thinking about it. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a corner. Look at the players surrounding the ref. Don't forget, man, no VAR. No VAR. Ufuk Tele is not happy on the sidelines. Sydney FC fans players appealing. It looked like his chest more than anything, honestly. Oh, actually, they're showing us the camera angle. What do you guys think? Penalty? Marcus says clear pen. Handball, asks Neo. Well, it doesn't matter. We've got the corner. Lolly swings it in. Away by May. Forward for Holman. Still on the attack here. The Sky Blues. Lolly's delivery is dangerous. Joe Lacey on the left. He sends it in. Auckland a little bit nervy at the back here. Oh, slip from Rogerson. It should have been a comfortable clearance. And Logan Rogerson with a big slip there, gifting Sydney a corner. 5 minutes have been added on. 5 minutes. Blinker says, I thought pen, but I can see how the ref would think it's chest. Yeah, I mean, difficult angle for the referee, right? The referee was basically behind it. Joe Lolly from range. Oh! Sting the palms of Michael Wood. Joe Lolly has come alive, man. Joe Lolly, who, by his standards, has been relatively quiet tonight, has all of a sudden decided he wants to win this game for Sydney FC right here, right now. He wants to get home. He doesn't want to play another half an hour. Another corner. High ball. That's going to be another corner, surely. Auckland FC under pressure here. Under pressure. Jeff, we will get extra time. We will get extra time if it stays level. And then after that, it will be pens. So don't go anywhere. If we do stay this way at full time, we are keeping this live watch along going right till the death. Joe Lacey. This string of corners that Sydney FC have here in injury time. Can they find the winner? Lacey. Goes backwards. Holman goes back as well. King. Interesting pass. Makes it tricky for Ryan Grant. And Auckland FC, I mean, it's all hands on deck in defence. Can they finally break free? Auckland FC, they're under the pressure. Finally breaking out of their own half. Can they go on and win it? I mean, this is sort of exploding into a really entertaining end of regular time, at least. Siphon's calling a last-minute winner for Sydney. Strong challenge there on Cosgrove. Committed by Alex Grant. He's going to get a yellow card too there, Alex Grant, for that strong challenge. Probably an unnecessary challenge there as well by Alex Grant. I mean, Cosgrove was being forced way out to the side. I mean, yeah, looking at that replay, that was a really silly challenge from Alex Grant. I mean, what's he thinking? Why? How is he going to win the ball from that angle, sliding in from the back? Alex Grant has just gifted Auckland a fabulous opportunity to win it here at the end. And Auckland are going to make a late change here. Liam Gillian, who scored a great goal in the round of 32 against Gold Coast Knights, is on to replace Logan Rogerson on the wing. Logan Rogerson, who assisted Auckland's goal there earlier on. Neo asks, how do you get chat XP? You know what? I actually don't know. It's one of those new YouTube features. I assume it's just from like sending messages in the chat. Auckland's free kick. Headed away. It will be a corner. It will be a corner. Another set piece. So, 1 minute left now of regular time, of injury time. Jake Brimmer to send it in. Wrestling going on in the penalty area. Referee trying to sort this out. Gus Hoofsloot maybe gesturing that there's been an elbow involved. Sam Cosgrove. I mean, look how tall Sam Cosgrove is, man. Tall player, tall striker. So this may well be the final attack of regular time. This could be it for Auckland FC, who were surrounding Gus Hoofsloot in Sydney's goal. Corner whipped in by Brimmer. I like the delivery. Strong hand there from Hoofsloot to get it away. Still on the attack. Nice long ball. Lockie Brook. It's a poor touch. Poor touch. That should be a goal kick. So, extra time. Seems like it's happening. 1-1. What a thrilling finish here to regular time. 2 goals in a couple of minutes. Lockie Brook broke the deadlock before Joe Lolly tapped home the equaliser for Sydney FC just a couple of minutes later. And after 95 minutes plus of play, we are going to extra time, folks. There's the whistle. Penalty shootout around the corner as well. Got some folks in the chat talking about the English Premier League that is set to kick off in a couple of minutes as well. Maybe we'll have to pull that up as well on another screen, eh? But that is the end of regular time. Don't go anywhere. Extra time. Extra time is around the corner. 85th minute, Brooks scores. 87th minute, Lolly scores. We are getting another half an hour of this contest. I mean, again, I want to highlight the fact that we've had some really entertaining matches between these two teams already. The past A-League season, both those games were intense, were dramatic, and we've got another one here. So this is almost turning into a bit of a rivalry, I almost want to say. A bit of a rivalry between these two teams. Sydney FC, one of the biggest teams in Australia. Some would say the biggest team in Australia. Against Auckland FC, who, I'm not going to say it, but maybe the biggest team in New Zealand. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. One of the biggest teams in New Zealand. But, I mean, they have more trophies than Wellington Phoenix, that's for sure. But 1-1. 1-1 between Sydney FC, Auckland FC. The question for you guys now is who wins it from here? Who wins it from here? Jeff says beauty. Who looks likely for the win? Well, if I had to give you my answer, dude, I tell you what, it's tricky. I'm going to say Auckland, just because they have, like Sydney FC, you look at their attack at the moment now, they've made a few substitutions in that attacking area of the pitch. They're relying on the youngsters, man, to step up, whereas Auckland FC, so much experience and quality there, proven quality. Auckland FC, those youngsters are top players, man, with enormous potential. But I think Auckland might still have the edge. Again, like they're showing us those highlights, those goals. That goal for Sydney, just really bizarre how Auckland FC just shut down in defence there. Just seemed to really collapse too easily. Neo with an interesting point here says, Auckland don't seem as good as they were last season. Maybe the semi lost all their hopes. Yeah, I mean that was obviously an incredibly dramatic final series last season, but yeah, I mean that would have obviously really affected Auckland FC after an incredible regular season, winning the Premier's Plate in their inaugural campaign, to lead against Victory in the semi-finals, to win, to be already leading them after that first leg away in Melbourne, and to host Melbourne Victory in front of a packed Go Media Stadium and then lose at home like that without even scoring Auckland FC. Yeah, that must have really affected them. But I mean, I've been really impressed with what we've seen from them in the Cup so far. I think they'll still be strong here. Yeah. G'day, Adam. Welcome to the live chat, mate. Who mentions Nottingham Forest might be getting a new manager. They are in talks to get a former Spurs coach who was sacked last year. And of course, Adam is referring to the great Ange Postecoglou. Yeah, I did hear about this. It's been spoken about online in the media, I think, that Nottingham Forest, English Premier League side, might be interested in Ange Postecoglou. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on that one because I'm sure we would all love to see Ange Postecoglou in the A-League. I think we'd love to see him in the A-League, but of course we'd love to see him in the English Premier League once again. But hey, Manchester City, Tottenham Hotspur is going to kick off as well in the English Premier League. Might have to keep an eye on that one as well. All right. Let us know in the live chat. Are you guys keeping an eye on the Premier League game as well? I've got the multi-screen set up now. So I've got the Australia Cup quarterfinal set up, and down here I've got the Premier League game as well. So this has turned into somewhat of a double watch along now. Siphons mentioned that he's watching Spurs as well. Should be an interesting game too as well in the English Premier League. Two big clubs, both winning their first game of the season last week. Manchester City with a big 4-0 win against Wolves. Tottenham 3-0 win against Burnley. Of course, Richarlison scoring that stunning goal. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that game as well. Hey, bit of a double live watch along for the Aussie football fans tonight. English Premier League and Australia Cup. Of course, we will just be staying live for the Australia Cup game, which has at least half an hour to go, minimum. Because hey, I wouldn't be surprised if the penalty shootout is required. Siphon mentions Spurs' beautiful black kit. Yeah, it looks nice, doesn't it? It's a really clean design. Really clean. So extra time about to get underway here in this Australia Cup quarter-final. 1-1 between Sydney FC and Auckland FC. As we've also just kicked off in the English Premier League as well. All right, we've got kickoff in the quarterfinal extra time. Who will make the breakthrough? Who will it be? Sydney FC, Auckland FC. Only one can go through to the semi-finals to take on Heidelberg United. Neo asks a good question here. Why are New Zealand teams in the Australia Cup? Well, Neo, it's a good question. To me, it's just a matter of the fact that they decided to include all the A-League teams in the Australia Cup. So that included Wellington Phoenix and now Auckland FC. So yes, all those two teams are included in the Australia Cup. But it is a fair question. I mean, but maybe you could raise the point then, like if those two teams are competing in the A-League, then is it unfair if they weren't in the Australia Cup? Is it unfair that they don't get those competitive games in pre-season like the other A-League teams get in the Australia Cup? But having said that, there's often a handful of, there is often a bunch of A-League teams who only get one game in the Cup. We obviously have Central Coast Mariners and Brisbane Roar, who lost in the playoffs in May. So they're not involved in the Australia Cup this pre-season. But it is certainly an interesting debate in regards to those New Zealand teams in the Australia Cup. And who knows, maybe it'll change in the future. Maybe it'll change. So, of course, each team gets an extra substitution window as well. So I'm sure we'll see some more changes over the next half an hour. Love it. This is a random one, but love it from Neo. Does anyone here watch Eurovision? If you do you like the new logo? Dude, Eurovision's fun, man. Always love catching Eurovision when it comes around. I haven't seen the new logo, to be honest. All right, a bit of a slow and steady start here to extra time. Possession stats being shown on the broadcast, favouring Auckland FC just slightly, 54% to Auckland. We are also keeping an eye on Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur in the English Premier League, which is a few minutes into that match as well. Who knows? Maybe we'll see the A-League on Stan Sport one day. Wouldn't that be fun? We obviously know that there's so many football fans in Australia who follow the English Premier League. I think it'd be great for the A-League and the English Premier League for football fans in Australia if both competitions were on the same platform. I think that would be beneficial for the A-League, that's for sure. And I'm sure you guys would agree. I think we would all like that. Siphon asks, why isn't there a thing for the A-League like the FPL, Fantasy Premier League? There used to be. And there's been a couple times they've had it. They used to have it years ago as well. And then they brought it back a couple seasons ago. But they didn't have it last year. But they had it the season before that, from memory. They did have A-League Fantasy. But yeah, it wasn't there last year. So will they bring it back for this coming season? We just have to wait and see. Yeah, it'd be great if they did. They should. It's a great thing for fans to, another way for them to engage in the A-League with, to get them, invested. Those fantasy games are obviously huge for fans, aren't they? So, Liam Gillian's also on for Auckland. He came on at the end of injury time. So he's on to replace Rogerson. Cosgrove and Brimmer's on. So Cosgrove, Brimmer, and Brooke also came on. So Auckland can make another 2 subs. Sydney FC might have another sub or 2 up their sleeves. Liam Gillian, dangerous cross. He was looking for the target man, Sam Cosgrove, the new striker for Auckland, but just drifted over his head. Five minutes into extra time. No real opportunities just yet. But here comes Sydney, Joe Lolly. I mean, he's now the star player for Sydney FC, especially with Douglas Costa not there at the moment. Joe Lolly. He has to be the one to really lift here for Sydney FC. Corner. Sky Blues. In towards Grant. Michael Wood. Good punch. Siphon asks, any news on the Douglas Costa situation? Well, we heard this week from Marco Monteverde, and I think it was in an interview with Ufuk. Great chance here, though. Sydney FC. Oh, Popovic. Shot blocked by Sakai. Great chance. Another corner for Sydney. On that Douglas Costa situation, hey. I think Ufuk said in that interview this week that they want to get him back, and he wants to come back. He wants to be here for the upcoming season. And I think that's the plan. He's contracted for the upcoming season, right? A couple of con with a shot for Sydney. Sails wide. But reportedly, he's dealing with personal matters over in Brazil. And isn't back in Australia for pre-season training, which, yeah. I mean, Sydney have been back in pre-season training for, almost 2 months now. Douglas Costa still not back involved, so it's a bit worrying. So Ufuk-Talay sort of hinted that they were preparing for the possibility that maybe he won't be involved this season. At least that's what I gathered from what Ufuk-Talay said in that interview. Five substitutions. Correction there from a point I made earlier. Auckland have made 5 subs, so they just have the 1 left. Sydney FC can make another 3 substitutions. Of course, you get that extra sub window in extra time. That's a good point there from Valhoon. Says Wellington and Auckland are the same as Wrexham, Cardiff, Swansea playing in the FA Cup. Yeah. Meanwhile, over in the English Premier League, we're keeping an eye on that game. Pedro Porro not too far away for Tottenham early on. Thomas Frank, new head coach there at Tottenham, replacing the former Socceroos boss, Ange Postecoglou. Callan Elliott with a long delivery. Easy for Gus Hoofsloot to claim. So Hoofsloot, who's, again, Sydney FC fans, how are we feeling about Hoofsloot? Is he going to be that first choice keeper this season for the Sky Blues? I think that's an interesting question. Harrison Devonish-Mir is out with injury at the moment. Andrew Redmayne departing the club, joining Mariners. I think he may well be. He's wearing the number 1 on the back of his shirt. Colacon, he shoots, and that sails high and wide. Colacon, he's been lively tonight. Really eager to make a strike on goal. A couple efforts from long range that have sailed wide. But I've been impressed with what we've seen tonight from Colacon. I think he's looked good, eh? Marcus says, I think Hoofsloot didn't get the number 1 for nothing. What would happen to all the Western United players, asks Nick. Well, yeah, I mean, they would all be available, right? As free agents, as far as I'm aware. Guilherme May shoots. Just too much elevation on that one from May. Uruguayan striker. Avondale FC, Heidelberg United already through to the semi-finals. The Sydney FC or Auckland will be going through in the next half an hour. Tomorrow, the final quarter-final. The last of the quarter-final matches. Newcastle Jets Macarthur FC tomorrow, being played up at Maitland Sports Ground. (101 minutes played. Not too many opportunities in extra time so far. Here is Brook in the box. Can't control. Like, both defences have been all right tonight. Aside from the 2 goals that were scored, both defences have probably been on top tonight. And both goalkeepers, for the most part, have been pretty dominant too in their penalty areas. Yeah, I mean, it will be pretty crazy if Western United do indeed have their A-League license taken away, and that is confirmed, and all the players will be free agents. I mean, it's going to be a mad scramble for those players. So many quality players who I'm sure will be looking for other A-League opportunities, men's and women's. Yeah. Down the left wing, this is Gillian. Who's dropping a little bit deeper now. And that's the thing as well with Sam Cosgrove leading the line as that target man for Auckland. There he is. Grant clears. With Cosgrove leading the line for Auckland, that allowed Guilherme to drop a little bit deeper, play almost as like a number 10, as like a playmaker, attacking midfielder, which I feel like he prefers. I feel like that might be a better position for Guilherme. De Vries, long throw, looking for Dan Hall, away by King. De Vries again on the ball. This is Verstraete who will shoot. Oh, deflection! Still on. Brook can't get it out of his feet, and it's cleared. But Louis Verstraete caught that one well. Again, Auckland's FC coming forward. Gillian swinging it in. It's going to be a corner. Auckland FC starting to flex their muscles here as we come towards the end of this first period of extra time. 1-1. 2 late goals in regular time. Appreciate you guys joining us here for this live watch along. Sticking around in extra time. Sydney FC, Auckland FC, 2 A-League teams playing against each other here in the Australia Cup quarterfinals. Another corner here for Auckland. They're set up a little bit differently now. The players towards the back post, now making the runs. De Vries whips it in. Looks like it flicked off a Sydney FC player. No, it's a goal kick. But those set pieces don't quite work out for Auckland FC tonight, so far. Still, both these teams could make some subs. Again, the Sky Blues have only made 3 substitutions, could still make another 3. But Balotelli doesn't necessarily have the usual quality that he has at his disposal. Plenty of star quality missing for Sydney FC. No Al Hassan Toure tonight as well. It's Toure who scored in the round of 16 matchup against Sydney United. Not involved tonight. Out with injury, I'm pretty sure. Of course, as we were talking about earlier, no Douglas Costa in the squad right now. He is not in the country, as far as we are aware. And a bit of an interesting situation with Leo Senna, who doesn't seem to be part of plans at Sydney FC at the moment, which is a really fascinating situation. He was a pretty key player in the Sydney FC midfield last season, but he's training with the team, reportedly, and just not involved in the matchday squads. So it's a bizarre one, isn't it? What's going on there with Leo Senna? How much involvement will the Brazilian midfielder have this season in the A-League? 1 minute of time added on here. Set to expire. Before we go again for the second half of extra time. How are we feeling? Will we get a late winner in extra time, or are we simply destined for penalty shootouts? Let us know. I am keeping an eye on the Tottenham game as well. We're rocking the multi-screen setup. Appreciate you guys joining us for the live watch along as well. Having an extra screen running for this one. 105 minutes played. 15 to go in extra time. Siphon's backing a late winner here for Sydney FC, as you've been saying all night, of course. It feels like it's anyone's game now. This game does feel really quite open in regards to who could win it. After that chaos at the end of regular time, it does feel like anything can happen now. Jeff also watching both. Love it. Love it, Jeff. So, second period coming up. It'll be interesting to see whether, that's that first period of extra time, both teams playing, pretty comfortably so far, playing pretty chill. Not taking many risks. Now, if I remember, Nestor Nkunda, is he playing right now for Watford? Let's check in on that game. Same with Cameron Burgess, who are playing right now, 20 minutes into that game. Watford taking on Swansea in the English Championship. A couple Aussies involved. Cameron Burgess starting in defence for Swansea City. Good to see that he's getting some game time there. Nestor Nkunda starting once again. And from what we've been seeing, interesting, is Nestor Nkunda has been playing off the left-hand side for Watford. From what we've been seeing, at least. That's interesting. We are generally used to seeing Nkunda play off the right. But Watford has been utilising, so far, Nestor Nkunda off that left wing. Interesting. Jeff asks the question here, and pretty much spot on. Hey, are both playing not to lose? That's right. Yeah, they're taking the cautious approach in extra time, which is something that we do often see. You don't want to do anything too risky at this stage in the game, as we have kickoff in the second period of extra time. It's the final 15 minutes, and if it's still level, we'll be going to a penalty shootout. Siphon says Sydney have the goalkeeper for pens. Gus Hoofsloot has looked really comfortable in goals tonight. Maybe could have done better with that goal that they conceded, but aside from that, he's looked really strong and commanding in the penalty area. Blinkers also says that Sydney's youthful setup might not favour pens. It's another fair point. You've got that experience there for Auckland, who might prevail in a penalty shootout. So maybe Ufuk Talay, Sydney FC head coach, will be thinking, I kind of want to win this before the shootout. And of course, it's if we do go to a shootout, it'll be Auckland FC's first ever penalty shootout. Fun fact. Of course. They haven't had many opportunities to go to penalty shootout yet, but they've cruised through the Australia Cup up to this point, and in the final series last year, losing to Victory without a shootout required. So we may see some penalties for the first time ever for Auckland FC. Whereas Sydney FC, of course, club with a rich history over the last couple of decades, have been in many penalty shootouts. How many? I couldn't tell you. If I had to guess right now how many competitive penalty shootouts Sydney FC have been in over the years, I'd say 15. Could be way off there. That feels about right. Anyway, here comes Auckland FC. They're looking eager to maybe find a winner here. Keeping an eye on the English Premier League as well. Looks like Manchester City being forced into an early substitution. Oh my goodness. Siphoning Lightning says if it's pens, 11-10. That's your prediction for the penalties. Love it. Love it. And of course, hey, we shouldn't forget, a couple of years ago, Sydney FC did have a high-scoring penalty shootout. That was against Central Coast Mariners in the round of 32 back in 2023. Well, Auckland FC are going to make another substitution here. It's Vislic, youngster, who's going to be given the opportunity here to make an impact in the last 12 or so minutes. He's replacing Callan Elliott. And it looks like Hiroki Sakai may shift to right back. The Matildas penalty shootout. I don't know if it was 14-13. What was it like? It was like 8-7 for the Chili's, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that was certainly that was probably the craziest penalty shootout ever. That Matildas quarter final against France in 2023. So Auckland FC with a lot of the ball here in the second period of extra time so far. Penalty shootouts are getting closer and closer to becoming a reality for these two teams to decide who will go through to play Heidelberg United in the semi-finals. Ooh, a bit of push and shove here. Lockie Brook not happy. Sydney FC players not happy. There's been a bit of this in the game, and it's been simmering. It's been simmering, hasn't it? And it is interesting for the referees. It will be a yellow card to Lockie Brook here. Without VAR, a lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure on the shoulders of the referees. Casey Raba, who has managed this game pretty well. A bit of wrestling going on there, and Lockie Brook, well, it was an interesting reaction there. I think the yellow card was the correct decision. I don't think it was anything there worthy of a red. But Lockie Brook didn't really need to react like that, pushing down. I think it might have been Joe Lacey there, who was maybe a bit overzealous in the challenge. Would there be VAR in the final? I think they have that for the final? I think they do. I feel like they do bring that in for the final. I may be mistaken. Yeah. G'day, Sam. Good to see you here, mate. He says, I'm excited about the Jets game tomorrow, as I think if we beat the Bulls, there's almost a certain chance we make the final. Well, it is a huge opportunity for Newcastle Jets. I mean, they historically don't make deep runs in the Australia Cup. But yeah, if they can get past MacArthur, that will give them a huge amount of confidence. After that, they'll have Avondale, who've looked good in the Cup. But Newcastle Jets, man, I mean, a team who haven't won silverware in so long, 2008. It's the last time Newcastle Jets won a trophy. They are hungry for silverware. And, yeah, man, they're only a few games away from doing it. Less than 10 minutes remaining in this quarter-final extra time. Auckland FC have been in control in the second period of extra time. Gillian trying to force his way through. Joe Lolly and Lacey get it clear. So Auckland have used all their substitutes. They've made 6 changes. Whereas for Sydney FC, I think they've still got a few more up their sleeve. Sam says, just hope Sydney win, as it means more of a chance of a final I'll be able to go to if, of course, we and Sydney make it. Of course, I mean, if Auckland make it as well, Sam, if Auckland make it, we know that the games are always in Australia, so it could be, you know, an Auckland-Newcastle final, possibly, if Auckland go through in this quarterfinal. And in that case, the Newcastle would definitely be hosting, and wouldn't that be awesome for Newcastle Jets to host a cup final? Ooh, nice back heel there from Lockie Brook. That was nice. Free kick. Paul Ocon Jr., who's been involved in the physical battles tonight. Siphon mentions the final most likely in Melbourne. Well, yeah, I mean, if Heidelberg or Avondale go through, it may well be in Melbourne. There is that rule that the non-A-League team, the member federation team, hosts the game. I'm not sure if that stands for the final. It is Football Australia who makes the final determination in regards to the details of the final, the location. I remember as a Mariners fan back in 2021 when we were hoping that Mariners were going to host the Australia Cup final. But the hosting rights went to Victory instead, which was very disappointing that year. But it was all right because Mariners went on to host and win a grand final in 2023 in one of the greatest nights in Central Coast Mariners history. Rimmer. Guillermo May trying to get the team running forward here, Auckland FC. Grant goes long down the line. Looking for Joe Lacey. Appeals for the free kick. Showing on the broadcast, there are a handful of Auckland FC fans in the crowd tonight here at Jubilee Stadium. Great to see. It remains 1-1 with 6 minutes remaining. Really appreciate you guys joining us here for this Saturday night live stream. Australia Cup quarterfinals. We'll definitely be doing some live stream content throughout this upcoming A-League season. And we'll probably be doing some live watch-alongs for the Socceroos games coming up in a couple of weeks as well, taking on New Zealand. So keep an eye out for those as well. Here comes Joe Lolly. This is a good run down the right. Really nicely done. And there's the shot, but Dan Hall makes a crucial block. But that was signature Joe Lolly, beating a few players, cutting on that left foot. He loves to do it. The Cove. The Sydney FC fans in support there. Cheering home their side. Encouraged by that positive play from Joe Lolly. And it's a corner here late on. I am indeed watching the Premier League game, the City Spurs game. I'm watching it on Stan Sport. I've got Stan Sport. But yeah, they've been broadcast. Have they been broadcasting it on Channel 9? Is it on Channel 9? It's great to see that they've been doing that. I heard they did that last week as well on free to air, which is awesome. Again, a good run from Joe Lolly, who's been good for the second sort of chunk of this game tonight, the second half of this game, if you like. A little bit quiet in the first half, Joe Lolly, but since then he's been a bit more influential. Got the goal for Sydney. Jeff asks, is Auckland FC going to have a great A-League run this year? I think they'll be strong once again. I think there's a really good chance they play finals once again with the squad they have already. I don't know if it'll be as dominant as it was last season. I think some other teams might catch up with them, but they'll be up there once again. Yeah. So I think they will have another good run. Corner coming up for Auckland FC. Sam says, in regards to those Premier League games, says, I think they broadcast the early games. Also, what have been your thoughts on Stan so far? Positive. Really positive. Yeah, I haven't had Stan before, but yeah, Stan Sport coverage and everything looks pretty good. It's fairly similar to like Optus Sport. So corner comes in. Youngster Veselic, his header goes over the bar. But yeah, on Stan Sport, I found it pretty good. You've got, the replays, the mini matches there, and all that extra content, the previews and everything, the reviews. So, and the interface and everything is pretty straightforward. So my experience with Stan Sport has been good. And who knows? Maybe hopefully we can get the A-League on Stan Sport and get the A-League and the Premier League all on the same platform as well. AdStart mentions here that I doubt the games against New Zealand will require Europe-based players to play. doubt the games will require Europe-based players to play. It's an interesting point. I mean, I feel like there almost will be like mostly Europe-based players at start just because the A-League season hasn't started. So we may well see a few A-League-based players featured in the squad, but just because they're not playing, and like Tony Popovich has highlighted that, well, as we know, like you need to be playing, you have to be like involved, because the A-League season isn't underway. That they might not be included in this camp. So I think we may well see a bunch of players from not just Europe, but obviously North America as well. We've got a bunch of players in the MLS. So, I see your point there. Obviously, the two games are being played down here in Australia and New Zealand, and they're just friendlies. But I think we would still want to field, a strong squad with less than a year remaining to the World Cup. We want to make sure we're in really top form, even though they're just friendlies. Jeff mentions that Nine has promoted football really well, even during the footy. Siphon's backing Sydney to get a winner. Jeff asks as well, is Dougie Costa coming back? I mean, we hope so. I mean, Ufuk Talay gave that interview this week, and he didn't sound so sure on it. He was saying that they wanted to come back. Douglas Costa wants to come back, but he's dealing with some stuff out in Brazil. So, from what we've heard in the reports. So, yes, we have to wait and see. All right, not long to go now. How much injury time will we have? Probably not much. The penalty shootouts are so close to becoming a reality here. Auckland FC, Sydney FC. I mean, it feels like this game deserves penalty shootouts. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it feels like a clear winner hasn't really stepped up. Auckland FC have maybe slightly been the better side, but not by much. Oh, and we've got a goal. No, we don't. In the English Premier League, we're keeping an eye on that game as well. Offside flag on Brennan Johnson, who had the ball in the back of the net for Tottenham. Oh, Nestri Irinkund has just scored. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Right here in this live watch-along, Nestri Irinkund has just scored his first goal for Watford. I've just had the FOTMOB notification. Meanwhile, 1 minute... Dude, it's all happening. It's all happening right here. We've got 1 minute added on in this quarterfinal, but FOTMOB notification. Nestri Irinkund has just scored from outside the penalty area for Watford. It's a free kick too. Oh, dude, we'll have to try and get a look at that. Wow. Is there anyone keeping an eye on that one? Nestri Irinkund has just scored a free kick for Watford. And at the same time, the full-time whistle has just been blown between Sydney FC and Auckland FC. After extra time, it is 1-1, and we are going to a penalty shootout. Wow. Valhoon says, let's go, Nestri. Brilliant. Come on, Nestri, says Jeff. Wow. Meanwhile, an update in the Premier League game. Tottenham have opened the scoring. That goal for Johnson stands. Huge moment in the English Premier League. Dude, so much has happened in the last minute. Wow. But that is huge. Nestri Irinkund has just scored his first goal in the English Championship. Free kick. Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Can't wait to get a look at that. So, all the focus now turns to this penalty shootout. And it is Auckland FC's first ever penalty shootout. First ever penalty shootout in their existence. Sydney FC, they've got the youngsters. Auckland FC, plenty of experienced players in that squad. Who is going to step up? Alrighty. Bear with us, folks. Bear with us, folks. Penalty shootout is around the corner. Auckland FC, their first ever penalty shootouts against Sydney FC here, who have gone through so many penalty shootouts throughout their career. Does anyone know? I wonder if anyone can Google it for us, or if it's even available on Google. How many penalty shootouts have Sydney FC been involved in their history? I want to know. All right. So the teams are going through their huddles, going through their discussions. Who will be taking the spot kicks? Flipping the coins. Corberto joining us tonight. Says up to Sydney FC. Really appreciate you guys joining us here. Penalty shootout just around the corner. Siphon Lightning, Jeff Andres, Marcus, Scribble Scratch, great name. Blinkers, Valhoon, Sam. Great to see all of you joining us here for the live watch along. Even if you're not in the live chat, really appreciate you guys, man. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Support the channel. Plenty of live watch alongs coming up throughout the upcoming A-League season. Spurs should have had a penalty, says Siphon. Just having a look at that one as well. I mean, was the challenge from outside the box? That's the only question. A close one. Sam says Google says Sydney have been 5 and won 5 penalty shootouts. Only 5, really? Would have thought it was more than that. Like in their whole history? Wow. But are they 5 from 5 in penalty shootouts? There you go. Yeah. Of course. Penalty shootouts. Sydney FC were in one in the Australia Cup a few years ago. That long marathon of a shootout against Central Coast Mariners in the round of 32. They went on to win the Australia Cup that year. Back in 2023, in fact, it was, yes. Okay, here we go. The goalkeepers, huge upcoming moments for them. Gus Hoofsloot, the youngster for Sydney FC. Michael Wood, the keeper for Auckland FC, who's stepping in after Alex Paulson. His loan ended with Auckland. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that, man. Who says loving the watch along. Thanks, Jeff. Good to see you here joining us in the live chat. Joining the conversation. Who's ready for some pens, says Marcus. Nestory goal. What a world, he says Valhoon. Yep, if you're just tuning in, we are reacting to the news moments ago that Nestory Nkunda has just scored a long-range free kick for Watford. I'm very keen to get a look at that one as well. We're also keeping an eye on the Premier League game. It's all happening here on a Saturday night. And just appreciate you guys choosing to spend your time here with us in the live watch along, joining the conversation with everyone else in the live chat. Here we go. It's Sam Cosgrove who's stepping up for the first penalty against Gus Hoofsloot. Cosgrove for Auckland. He scores. Great way to mark his Auckland debut. He scores a penalty. Perfect start for the Black Knights and for English striker Sam Cosgrove, who's looked promising on his debut. Stepping up for Sydney's first penalty is Ryan Grant, captain of Sydney FC, signed a new contract recently, keeping him around for the next couple of seasons. Ryan Grant against Michael Wood. Grant with a pretty straight run up here. Pulling off to the left. And a shot. Ooh. Very similar to Cosgrove. Down to the right. G'day, Liam. Welcome to the live chat. Says, let's go, Grant. And it is the Sydney FC captain who makes it 1-1. 1-1 in the shootout. 1-1 in the overall scoreline as well. So, Gus Hoofsloot, the young goalkeeper set for a big season, possibly, for Sydney FC. It's Geronimo May, who scored plenty of times last season for Auckland. Oh, it's saved! Hoofsloot denies May. What a moment for the young Sky Blues goalkeeper. Early on in this shootout. Wow, saved, says Marcus. Nice, says Blinkus. Let's go, Auckland, says Cam. Welcome to the live chat, Cam. Siphoning says, told you they have a good goalkeeper. Jeff loves it as well. The winner of this shootout goes through to the semi-finals of the Cup. Next up, it's Joel King for Sydney. Oh, it's saved again. Back-to-back saves, and it's all square. Joel King denied. Michael Wood with the save. Huge moments. Again, very similar to Mai's penalty as well. Down to the right, and the save. What a start to this shootout, man. 2 goals and 2 saves. Next penalty is finished coolly by De Vries. One of the best players in the park tonight, Francis De Vries, always looking dangerous down the left. He makes it 2-1 in the shootout. Adstar makes the point that Sydney has a good record for penalty shootouts. Let's go, Auckland, says Scribble. Penalty number 3 for Sydney is falling to the boot of youngster Matthias McAllister, the son of the great Dylan McAllister. McAllister. He scored in the round of 32. Oh my goodness. Oh no. This young man has an incredibly bright career, a promising career ahead of him. But it has to be said that that is one of the worst penalties we've ever seen in Australia Cup history. That is hard to fathom, but again, this guy is set for a real breakout season, a real bright season ahead, but that was simply a disaster of a penalty. Oh no. So it's 2 consecutive misses. Brimmer steps up for Auckland, and he scores. Wow, what a confident penalty. What a confident penalty. And it's 3-1 to Auckland now. Brimmer, dude, that was such a dangerous penalty. Look at the elevation. That hit the roof of the net. That hit the roof of the net. For those who didn't see it, man, McAllister's penalty, I don't know whether he scuffed the contact, but it literally just rolled. It rolled slowly to the left, basically, of the goal. He just completely missed the contact. But Joe Lolly stepping up needs to score here. Oh, Joe Lolly slips and misses. And Auckland FC have won it. They've won it. Have they? That's it, isn't it? They've won it. No, that's it. It's over. Oh, what a bizarre shootout. Auckland FC are through to the semi-finals of the Cup. Their dream is alive of winning this competition at the first attempt. Joe Lolly with a terrible slip and miss, which has gifted the win to Auckland. Michael Wood with a fantastic penalty save. Oh, you really feel for Matthias McAllister especially as well, the youngster. looks distraught after his really disappointing penalty there. Oh, wow. Well, what a game. What a match. 2-0 to Spurs in the Premier League as well right now. Keep an eye on that one as well. Wowee. But Auckland FC are the victors tonight. So they go through to take on Heidelberg United. Heidelberg, of course, will host that game. What a match that'll be, man. I mean, obviously, Heidelberg United defeated a team from New Zealand this past week. 4-0 against Wellington. It's a completely different challenge coming up against Auckland FC, man. I mean, it'll be their biggest test of the year, Heidelberg United, for sure, against Auckland FC. Auckland, wow. Could they go all the way? Could they do it? Sydney FC, they crash out of the cup. All focus for them. Now turns to the A-League. Guys, really appreciate you guys joining us for the live watch-along tonight. We're going to wrap it up there. 1-1 after extra time. 2 dramatic goals there towards the end of regular time in quick succession. All the way to a penalty shootout. A 3-1 win in the end for Auckland. Really feel for youngster Matthias McAllister, who got his penalty all wrong. And Joe Lolly slipping on the contact for his penalty. Playing that one wide. Just the one penalty converted for Sydney FC. Decent performances from both teams. Still in pre-season. I'm sure we're going to expect some really entertaining clashes between these two teams this coming season. Appreciate you guys joining us. Jeff says, great watch along anyway. Well done. Take it easy, lads, says Blinkus. Thanks for the live stream, says Adstar. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hey, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay subscribed, man. Wow, that should be my slogan. What did I say? Stay safe, stay healthy, stay subscribed for more watch-alongs. Coming up very, very soon. We've got the Socceroos in a couple weeks and the Australia Cup semi-finals not too far away as well. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Enjoy the Premier League action as well if you're watching that. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.